Chapter 331. The Greatest Heaven Sect's New Trend. The cooperation between Pure Yang Palace and Blue Cloud Sect was finally completed smoothly. The Blue Cloud Sect not only got the promise of refining the questioning inner heart pills, but also the pill recipe of the inner sensing pill for free. Although the monster race pill recipe was not so rare, the Blue Cloud Sect's luck was not good enough. The disciples under the sect had killed thousands of monsters, and they still could not obtain the pill recipe of inner sensing pill from any of them. Since the Pure Yang Palace was very generous to present the pill recipe as a gift, the decision regarding Sun Qingxu's marriage was not pursued by Sect Master Lu Zongzu. After all, the Pure Yang Palace was not giving a refusal, but wanted the two to make this decision themselves. This reason also showed the importance of Yang Chen for the Pure Yang Palace. Thus, it was understandable that Yang Chen's own opinions on such matters would be respected. Similarly, the Green Jade Immortal Island had the same temperament for this matter, which thus served as the biggest reason for the Blue Cloud Sect to finally accept it. To not sit idly by, the Blue Cloud Sect could only urge Sun Qingxu to get along with Yang Chen as much as possible and practice together. Strive to tempt Yang Chen and snatch him from Zhanxian. Not to mention how the Blue Cloud Sect's people were looking forward to the wonderful success of the questioning inner heart pills refining. Yang Chen was now working with his master and senior sister in the Blue Vault Mountain Immortal's cave to find a suitable room to practice together. There were only a few hundred disciples who were qualified to enter and practice in the Blue Vault Mountain Immortal's cave. All of them were those who had passed the examination of Hallmaster Meng Xian and other elders. These were the future of Pure Yang Palace. Of course, they must focus on training themselves. Besides the fire seeds compensation given by the Blue Cloud Sect in advance, Yang Chen had already had 60 kinds of 3rd grade fire seeds, 30 kinds of 4th grade fire seeds, and 4 kinds of 5th grade fire seeds, and there was also the 6th grade fire seed Purple Heart Profound Fire. It was Yang Chen's unwillingness to keep it outside, so that at least these fires should be absorbed into the profound spirit furnace first. After Gongsun came back, she always thought about something to busy herself with and did not dare to disturb Yang Chen unless she was dragged by Gao Yu and forcibly pulled in front of Yang Chen. Yang Chen was also unpretentious. He was very straightforward to express his desire to have spiritual awareness double cultivation with his master and sister. Both women were embarrassed while listening to Yang Chen's request. But no one objected and they followed Yang Chen to the inside of the Immortal's cave. They may have been aware of Yang Chen's attitude towards his marriage with either the Blue Cloud Sect or the Green Jade Immortal Island. As the two women were very docile to Yang Chen, soon he started to feel like a patriarch, with both being his beloved wives. In the enormous sect palace, the three only occupied a small corner, even if someone paid attention, no one would disturb them. Of course, Yang Chen leading the two goddesses for spiritual awareness double cultivation was an act. In fact, he wanted to take this opportunity to cement their relationships. Also, his master needed to absorb the Purple Heart Profound Fire, which was to be handed over to her in this hidden place. Gao Yu and Gongsun did not know when such an alliance had been formed. Yang Chen knew this well. Therefore, he didn't conceal anything from Gongsun. He openly took out the jade box that preserved the Purple Heart Profound Fire. There were no markings on the jade box. From the outside, they couldn't see what it contained. Gao Yu and Gongsun looked at it with doubts. "What is this?" Gao Yu turned to look at Yang Chen and strangely asked. "This is a gift for master." Yang Chen replied with a smile. After answering his master, he turned to his senior apprentice sister and apologetically said, "This time I went out without encountering something suitable for my sister. Next time I have the opportunity, I will find a suitable one for you." He did not explain the origin of the Purple Heart Profound Fire, only that he accidentally encountered it himself when he went out. The two women remained very calm. Yang Chen occasionally would bring good things for them when he went traveling. Just like how he had brought the 4 Seas mysterious coral liquid which both had since drunk aplenty. Opening the jade box, Gao Yu immediately felt the amazing heat of the Purple Heart Profound Fire through the two-fold array method. The Purple Heart Fire inside her body was attracted by the things in the box and was ready to move. This surprised Gao Yu. "This is..." At the beginning Gao Yu was not sure, but the feeling got more and more familiar and attractive, so she quickly confirmed it. It turned out to be the 6th grade fire seed Purple Heart Profound Fire. The flame of Wang Yong, because it absorbed the fire of the same kind of water and fire in the Kilin Horn, became the Kilin Fire, and then became the Kilin Heavenly Fire of the 7th grade, under the tempering of the Yin Fire Tribulation. The Pure Yang True Fire that had been collected by the Pure Yang Palace was of the same level, so Yang Chen did not need to bother to find the fire seeds again. If the problem of the master ancestor was solved, then his master would naturally have to be on the agenda. It happened that the appearance of the Purple Heart Profound Fire satisfied his wish. Looking at the appearance of Gao Yu's surprise, Yang Chen's heart was full of satisfaction. If his master could become even happier, let alone the 6th grade fire seed, he would even bring her even more advanced fire seeds. However, with the qualification of Gao Yu on controlling fire, even if she reached the Yuning stage, the highest grade of fire seed that she could absorb would still be the 6th grade fire seed. Unless she also learned Wang Yong's method, tempering with yin fire tribulation, and promoting the purple heart profound fire into a purple heart heavenly fire. This would happen a long time later, at least Yang Chen would not have to consider this issue in a few hundred years. Although the yin-yang burning heavenly fire also needed to integrate with other fire seeds, he had many fire seeds of 3rd, 4th and 5th grades. It would take Yang Chen decades to integrate them. When it would be necessary to have a 6th grade fire seed, Yang Chen may rather find it through other channels. Bao Yu had been immersed in ecstasy, Yang Chen had quietly found her a purple heart profound fire. Now, she would not have to worry about fire attribute spirit power for at least a few hundred years. How could she not be happy? Of course, the thing that made her happiest was Yang Chen's intention. When he went out, he didn't forget to find the right things for herself. This was what made Gao Yu most moved and the most joyful. If Gongsun Ling was not around, Gao Yu would not hate to be in Yang Chen's arms again and share this extreme happiness with him. Master, this kind of fire seed is for you to properly absorb. Waiting for Gao Yu to gain tranquility, Yang Chen reminded, first slowly get familiar with the heat of the purple heart profound fire, wait until the adaptation is almost the same, then unseal the first layer formation. Gradually, I think it would take at least 100 years to fully absorb, so there is no hurry. Bao Yu certainly understood this truth, as this was a 6th grade fire seed, thus, Yang Chen's words made her completely calm. Yang Chen understood Gao Yu's mind and did not say much. After reminding her with those few words, he turned towards Gongsun Ling. From the achievement ring, he took 2 first-grade inner sensing pills and gave one to his senior apprentice sister. This is an inner sensing pill, a first-grade pill, senior sister can take one first to feel the blood and spirit power in your body. There were good things to give to his own people, Yang Chen said with a smile. Although it cannot form your nascent soul, it can help with your cultivation. But the inner sensing pill which news was passed to the outside world, Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling of course knew about it, but they have never been seen one. Now Yang Chen took it out, just to satisfy their curiosity. Bao Yu was also attracted, carefully put away the jade box, and then took another inner sensing pill from Yang Chen's hand and carefully observed it. They have already taken the 2nd grade questioning inner heart pill of Yang Chen. The 2 women were not surprised at Yang Chen for taking out the 1st grade inner sensing pill. After appreciating them for a while, and then under the instructions of Yang Chen, they swallowed the medicinal pills in their hands. Once you took a 1st grade inner sensing pill, you don't need to arrange a soundproof array to offset the damage of the sound, 10 times to enhance the senses, all within the acceptable range. But Yang Chen was still careful to stay aside. Once there was a problem, he could solve it at any time. The process of the effects of the pill was very normal, without any abnormalities. The 2 women also enjoyed the feeling of the spirit power operation in their body. After the completion of the efficacy of the pill, the 2 women had some feelings, and they sat quietly and began to relish it. Yang Chen did not bother them, and he took out an inner sensing pill and swallowed it and began to feel the pill in silence. Speaking of this was the first time that Yang Chen swallowed his own refined inner sensing pill. Qiaoming and Zhu Chengxin, these 2 elders, because it happened just right, it was the same as taking the initiative to give him the test of the medicinal pill, let him confirm if the monster race medicinal pill also work for human cultivators. His senses suddenly increased, and Yang Chen also used this extremely sensitive sense to understand the Qi and blood power in his body. The process did not last long. Yang Chen was very happy to discover that for the time being, there was no deviation in his practice and everything was on the normal track. It may be that this time when they went out to gain experience, the 2 women did have a lot of gains. After swallowing the inner sensing pills, this time, the process of sentiment was surprisingly long. In a few days, even Yang Chen controlled the spirit furnace to absorb a 3rd grade fire seed. The 2 women did not wake up from that state of perception. Carefully caring for his master and senior sister, Yang Chen absorbed the fire seed and began to ponder his next plan. Now that the blue cloud sex remuneration has been received, it was only necessary to refine the questioning inner heart pills and make a difference. Then, when these fires were absorbed into the profound spirit furnace, Yang Chen would consider going to the vein of the 7th metal true essence left by the golden star of the sun. If it goes well, the 7th metal true essence could also condense a Dan, Yang Chen would be folded to the East China Sea. On one hand, he could collect more 10th water true essence, on the other hand, he could try to see if he could open the remaining restrictions in the Dragon Palace. On the East China Sea side, Yang Chen plans to stay at least until he reached the 10th water true essence condensed Dan. Then, Yang Chen intends to collect a dozen flying swords left by a certain immortal to use as the life source magic weapons for his master and sister. Of course, in the course of the road, Yang Chen would use the yin-yang burning heavenly fire at any time to absorb the fire seeds and raise the level of the yin-yang burning heavenly fire. It was estimated that it would take at least 2 or 3 decades to complete this. Just in time, he could take Mu Bai and the Cypress family back to the sect and then he could plan for another future genius. The plan was good, but unfortunately there was no arrangement for troubles in the Greatest Heaven sect during this time. At present, both Yang Chen and the Pure Yang Palace needed to use the help of the Greatest Heaven sect to rush to restore their strength and to find a way for the sect to recruit large-scale monster cultivators. It's not that Yang Chen doesn't want revenge, but revenge was not just as simple as killing a Yang Zai. The sect master of the Greatest Heaven sect, including the entire Greatest Heaven sect, was part of Yang Chen's revenge. This was not something that could be done overnight. Yang Chen had enough patience. Moreover, using the power and influence of the enemy to strengthen themselves and in turn to eliminate the enemy, wasn't this vengeful taste more beautiful? Bao Yu and Gongsun Ling were awake from their understanding of the inner sensing pill, and they were even more curious about the second great inner sensing pill. However, at this time, Yang Chen did not intend to give it to the two women, he at least wanted to wait for their cultivation base to be reconsolidated for decades, and for the time being, the effect of the first great inner sensing pill was enough. Yang Chen wanted to refine the questioning inner heart pills. The two women also wanted to spend more time with Yang Chen. They stayed here to accompany Yang Chen and act as protectors for Yang Chen. However, before alchemy, Yang Chen still planned to use a year or two until all the fire seeds in his hand were absorbed into the profound spirit furnace. The upgrading of the profound spirit furnace also means that the quality of the medicinal pill would be higher and the alchemy would be easier. The spiritual awareness double cultivation naturally would also take turns to carry on. This kind of cultivation, which was of great benefit to both sides' spiritual awareness, would never be wasted. Anyway, the two women have long been having double cultivation with Yang Chen, and they continued the spiritual awareness double cultivation, so everyone could accept it. Here, Yang Chen was proceeding in an orderly manner according to his own plan. Outside, he had set off an uproar because of the inner sensing pills. Fortunately, there was a lot of martial arts sects which had the pill recipe. Already an alchemy master succeeded in refining some pills in a period of 1 year. Although the number of medicinal pills in a furnace could not be compared with that of Yang Chen, he has already obtained several inner sensing pills that have been refined, which also indicates that the refining of inner sensing pills has been completely successful. The efficacy of these inner sensing pills was almost exactly the same as that of Yang Chen's. The same could improve the sensory sensitivity by 10 times and let people explore the blood and vitality of their own body. But many of the Jidan stage masters who were on the verge of breaking through were looking forward to taking some of the inner sensing pills. Just as Zhanxian started, they also understood some deviations in his practice, but they could not take the last step in initiating the process of their tribulation. With this problem, countless people rushed back to the side of the Pure Yang Palace to inquire about it, but it was a long time before they got a message from an elder of the Pure Yang Palace who was accidentally lost. Qiaoming and Zhanxian were able to break through after taking the pill. It's not the first great inner sensing pill in their hands, but a second great inner sensing pill. In the heart of many of them, they began criticizing the Pure Yang Palace, and a bunch of alchemists have started a new round of refining of the second great inner sensing pill. However, the results of this time were unacceptable to everyone. After spending hundreds of years of elixir, the one that has been formed has been turned into the first grade pills. When the second refining system was carried out, all of them failed without exception, and no pills was preserved. Those who did not believe in it continued to refine twice in succession, all of which ended in getting a stove of coke. The second great inner sensing pill was actually still firmly in the hands of the Pure Yang Palace. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 332. He came to our sect. As long as you knew a little bit about the situation in the former Pure Yang Palace, it seemed that all this had happened after Yang Chen joined the Pure Yang Palace. The name of Yang Chen as an alchemist master began with the refining of the heaven-seizing pill. When Elder Wu Xiong summoned the alchemist masters to refine the heaven-seizing pill, Yang Chen was considered a miscellaneous one, but it was this miscellaneous kid who finally turned trash into magic and completed the refining of the heaven-seizing pill. At the beginning, there were still people who had ideas on Yang Chen's pill recipe, and more than once, He Lianyan, Shang clan, plus some sects, including the Greatest Heaven sect, for this reason had launched attacks on Yang Chen, and Yang Chen took the Shang family pill recipe on this grounds. After the results were refuted one by one, He Lianyan was beheaded and the Shang clan was exterminated. Afterwards was the emergence of the questioning inner heart pill. Yang Chen was already firmly seated on the throne of an alchemy master, and no one could shake it. The questioning inner heart pill has been studied by a few large-scale sects, but their respective wielding stage alchemy masters could not refine it. They could only say that there was no pill recipe, they could only find some reasons for the inconvenience and inaccuracy. Now it was not hard to come out with a pill recipe of the inner sensing pill. Even so, several martial arts sects masters of alchemy couldn't succeed in even the second-grade refining system. Yang Chen showed his talent of alchemy to outsiders at this moment, which made countless people drool in secret. Pure Yang Palace, what kind of dog's luck do they have to be able to recruit this kind of alchemy genius to be a disciple? Because Yang Chen's reputation was too great and the matters involved were also very important, so many sects have learned about Yang Chen's origin. Even when he was an outer sect disciple at the Pure Yang Palace, he was under the merit-transferring disciple Chu Heng. Later, with Li Qingchen's life and death duel, people stringed some clues together. Yang Chen didn't go through anybody's instructions. Just relying on his own fondness and reading some miscellaneous books, there was such a means of cultivation and alchemy. This made those guys who were called senior alchemists so embarrassed. In the greatest heaven sect, a young disciple in the sect was opposite the sect master. He was very careful to wait for the questions of the sect master and the elders. This young disciple seems to be not very high cultivated. He was only in the late stage of the foundation stage and he was about to enter the peak of the foundation stage. However, there was still a certain gap from the Jidan stage. The young person was very familiar. If Yang Chen was present, he would be able to recognize that the young man was Yang Zai, the former enemy who he never forgets. However, at this moment, how would Yang Zai still have the arrogance in front of Yang Chen? He was afraid to come out with care. In the face of a group of elders in the Yuning and Daching stage, it was simply very good if he wasn't trembling. Yang Zai, is Yang Chen your fellow villager? The lord did not speak, but an elder of the Yuning stage did, and he was an acquaintance of the Pure Yang Palace, the lord of the greatest heaven sect's foreign affairs hall, Mao Kai. All master, Yang Chen is indeed a fellow villager. Even if only Mao Kai asked, Yang Zai did not dare to be less scornful, and hurriedly replied. He and this disciple are from the same village, and we also came together to the greatest heaven sect's outer sect's disciple selection. What? Hearing Yang Zai's words, he was always sitting behind the unspoken lords and elders, and an elder who seemed to be in his 30s directed a question at Yang Zai. He came to participate in my greatest heaven sect disciple selection. Yes, elders. Yang Zai was almost stunned by the elder and quickly replied. But he was not lucky, he was not selected at the time. His luck was not good. When Yang Zai's words were exported, an elder had a bitter smile when he heard this. His luck is not good, it's better to say that we are not lucky. Such a good seedling was actually not selected by my sect. When they chose a disciple, didn't they check out the roots? Yang Zai listened to the words of the elder and moved in his heart. His head lifted slightly and made an action like he wanted to say something, then quickly lowered and returned to its original state. If no one has been staring at him, maybe they would not find that he had done this action. But who are there? The person with the worst cultivation base was also a Yuning stage elder. Although Yang Zai's movement was slight, but where could he escape the attention of any one person here? Do you have anything to say? The foreign affairs hallmaster, Mao Kai, although he had lost his own flying sword, he did not lose his identity as a lord, saw Yang Zai's little movement and immediately asked. Disciple, it's hard to say. Yang Zai was somewhat uneasy and he repeatedly said that he had squeezed out 3 words, which was hard to say. The brow of Mao Kai wrinkled immediately, in front of the lord and the elders, he dared to say that something was hard to say. With a cold snorted at Yang Zai, his momentum was slightly released and the merciless order said speak. Yes. Yang Zai's body was naturally shaking and he promised that he was completely sincere and fearful. Under the pressure of a Yuning stage master, he was a disciple of the late foundation stage. The fact that he did not directly succumb to the floor was already a very good performance. Yang Chen did not test his spirit roots that year. Mao Kai took his pressure to swear at him, would he still dare to hide it, and said quickly he shouted out in surprise when he entered the mountain gate, then the uncle master said that he roared at the mountain gate and threw him directly out of the mountain gate. After listening to Yang Zai's speech, including the sect master, all the elders' faces were all having different expressions. Because of the cry, he was thrown out of the mountain gate. This throwing, wasn't it directly throwing an alchemy genius to the Pure Yang Palace? When they thought of the treasure that originally was to belong to the greatest heaven sect, that he became a disciple of another sect because of such a small thing. The mood of everyone was simply unspeakable. The kid who has never seen the world entered the gate of the greatest heaven sect, naturally everything would be, how was crying out too much? Was this the so-called roaring at the mountain gate? Which bastard throws people out? A master of the Daching stage who had never spoken before and usually did not care much about the sex affairs, who was usually immersed in cultivation, suddenly burst out, and his momentum was like a thunderous 300,000 Jin mountain to pressure Yang's eye. This elder has been trapped for a long time in the middle Daching stage bottleneck. Once he heard about the questioning inner heart pill he was very excited. But even if it was the greatest heaven sect, it was only bought at the auction house and was used for research. So he could not use it for breakthrough. Now he heard that the alchemy master who was supposed to be a disciple of the greatest heaven sect had become a disciple of another sect. If he still couldn't get the pill, now his time would elapse. In the face of the majesty of the master of the Daching stage, how could a small foundation stage disciple withstand it? Yang's eye was not as strong as Yang Chen, and his spiritual awareness was not so heaven-defying. Seeing that Yang's eye was going to suffer, his side suddenly flashes a halo, and the pressure of the elder of the Daching stage was also blocked. It was the sect master of the greatest heaven sect who made the move. He used his own magic weapon just to resist an unconscious eruption of the elder. The elder saw the sect master make a move and realized that his attitude was problematic. The target he was looking for was not here. Yang's eye came to the greatest heaven sect with Yang Chen that year, and it was not his fault that Yang Chen was thrown out. Who threw Yang Chen out? The elder once again asked. This time, the sound was a little gentler, but still full of anger. This disciple does not remember. Yang's eye seems to have been frightened and just said this, then dared not say any more. It's no wonder that it's been forgotten, having been more than 100 years ago. Who would have thought that this was a big deal? Who would deliberately remember those who throws people out? Check, when did Yang's eye join my sect? In that year, for all the disciples responsible for recruiting outer sect disciples, give them all to the law enforcement elder. They will have a penalty of facing the wall for 10 years for each person. If you find out who threw him out, let him face the wall for 20 years, plus 100 lashes. The sect master whispered a sentence, and immediately there was the master of the law enforcement hall who went out to make arrangement. Although the voice of the sect master was very light, but at the same time everyone could hear some dissatisfaction. Such an excellent alchemy genius, because he cried out after he looked at the beautiful scenery, he completely lost the opportunity and was pushed out. How could he not be angry? Speaking of this Yang Chen, that is the little guy who Li Qingchen instructed the Pure Yang Palace Chu Heng to deal with, is that right? Another elder also remembered a lot of things. There was a duel with Li Qingchen, killing Li Qingchen was done by him, right? It was impossible to notice these little things with the identity of the great people present. However, Yang Chen was now famous for his reputation. Secondly, Li Qingchen was considered an excellent disciple of the greatest heaven sect. Everyone was somewhat impressed. So, it seems that if I want to pull him into my greatest heaven sect, I am afraid it will be a little difficult. The group of people were discussing here, not to confirm who Yang Chen was, but thinking about how to pull Yang Chen to the side of the greatest heaven sect. Originally, they discovered that Yang's eye was a fellow villager of Yang Chen. This relationship may be of use. But if you count Li Qingchen's things, then it was hard to say. You must know that Li Qingchen had offended Yang Chen at the time, and he even did not hesitate to move Chu Heng to rebel. Even though Li Qingchen died in Yang Chen's hand, who knew if Yang Chen still remembered? In any case, let's try it first. The sect master finally decided this, and he directed at Yang's eye. Yang Chen has been in the Pure Yang Palace recently. You are close to him as a fellow countryman, so see if you can try to pull him over. After a while, not waiting for Yang's eye to reply, the sect master directly gave the bottom line to Yang's eye. As long as he promises to join us, everything he wants, we can give him. Cultivation methods, magic weapons, pill recipes, spirit stones, medicinal materials, beauties, what he wants is what we will give him. In short, what the Pure Yang Palace can give, we can also give, even exceed them. As long as he can join my greatest heaven sect, all his wishes will be granted. This disciple understands. Yang's eyes lit up and immediately realized that this was an unprecedented opportunity. After he bowed to express his agreement, he seemed to think of something again. He once again asked sect master, if Yang Chen asked about the pressure he will face for leaving his sect, how should I reply? As long as he is willing to join my greatest heaven sect, if there is any opinion from the Pure Yang Palace, we will take the opportunity to destroy them and will not give them a chance. The sect master gave this answer without thinking about it. This disciple understands. Yang's eye knew that he should leave. This is not the place where he could stay. However, it seems that because of Yang Chen, he has also fallen into the eyes of the high level. As long as things are handled beautifully, there was no need to worry about his future. After retiring, Yang's eye did not even return to his place of residence. When he left the hall, he went straight to the mountain gate and flew in the direction of the Pure Yang Palace. His action led a few of the high-level members who had been observing his actions nod slightly. This person's attitude was fairly correct. It was only after 100 miles from the sect of the Greatest Heaven sect that Yang Zai's face showed a strange smile. One of the guys who was responsible for picking out the outer sect disciples was oppressing Yang Zai. Yang Zai just used this opportunity to honestly tell the fact that Yang Chen was expelled and the guy would immediately face retribution. Although it hurts a lot of innocent people, Yang Zai would not have a little bit of guilt. They were unlucky who let them be so close to the guy that year. However, in the eyes of Yang Zai, there was still a thick ripple of envy. Yang Chen, the muddy leg of the country, even had his reputation being loud and unsound, was even stronger than him. How could this be accepted by Yang Zai, who has always been arrogant? From infancy to maturity, Yang Zai was the best in the village, including his younger sister. No one could compare with him. No matter what, Yang Zai wanted to occupy the best position, and he even became the disciple of the Greatest Heaven sect, the biggest martial arts sect. Within a short period of 100 years, Yang Zai has cultivated to the late foundation stage. Although it was not comparable to the discerning disciples, he was also a rare outstanding child. But what Yang Zai never imagined was that Yang Chen, who was originally a waste in the village, had already cultivated to the Jitan realm, and he became a master of alchemy. If this were someone else, perhaps Yang Zai would feel a little better, but it was Yang Chen, which made Yang Zai almost crazy. This time, he had to follow the orders of the sect to win over Yang Chen. It was inconceivable that Yang Zai had to put on a low-pitched attitude in front of Yang Chen, which made him angry. If the deal was not successful, how would the sect deal with it? From the answer to the last question that the sect master gave him, Yang Zai had already guessed some of their attitudes. Since he was not a person of the Greatest Heaven sect, they must cut short his growth. They couldn't see Yang Chen grow up. Otherwise, the Greatest Heaven sect was confident that it would be a big problem. After thinking about this, Yang Zai suddenly understood how he should do it. Yang Chen, this guy, he would let him be proud for a few days, then there will be days that he would be crying. Yang Chen, who was absorbing fire seeds in the sect, has received a notice from the sect that a former villager of his was here. Yang Chen was very surprised, he never thought about Yang Zai. Later, when he heard that Yang Zai of the Greatest Heaven sect came to see him, Yang Chen suddenly stopped and immediately laughed. He thought that this guy had died silently in the explosion of the sect, so he didn't expect him to be alive. This was the opportunity from the heavens to avenge Yang Chen's personal revenge. How could it not let Yang Chen laugh happily? If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 333. Envy. Yang Chen had been absorbing those fire seeds for more than a year. There were a lot of fire seeds in the 3rd grade, 4th grade and 5th grade, and the time spent was also quite a lot. In 1 year, Yang Chen had only absorbed all the 3rd grade fire seeds into the profound spirit furnace. The 4th grade fire seeds would take longer to absorb, each required at least half a month. Yang Chen now had at least 30 kinds of 4th grade fire seeds. He just absorbed 4 or 5 kinds when he received a notice from Yang Zai. This time, Yang Chen was not in seclusion. He just sneaked into the Immortal's cave. The news outside was still sent to him smoothly. Hearing that Yang Chen's old fellows came to visit him, Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling did not hinder him and sent the news directly to Yang Chen. For Yang Zai, Yang Chen had the deepest hate for him. However, all along, Yang Zai was in the Greatest Heaven sect, Yang Chen did not find a suitable opportunity to take care of him. Although Yang Chen could sneak into the inside of the Greatest Heaven sect to kill Yang Zai, but that would lack the feeling that Yang Chen wanted, the open and overboard feeling of satisfaction. In particular, after Yang Chen detonated the welcoming array of the Greatest Heaven sect, the tens of thousands of outer sect disciples of the Greatest Heaven sect who died, and many disciples of the foundation stage who were harmed, Yang Chen always thought that Yang Zai had died in that chaos, but did not expect this guy to have such extraordinary luck. This was better, it was simply that the heavens was also in line with the meaning of Yang Chen, so that he could have the opportunity to kill him with his own hands, the deep hatred of his previous life. As soon as he thought that he could see Yang Zai, the chief culprit, Yang Chen even had some excitement and trembled a little. Bao Yu and Gongsun Ling did not understand him. They thought that because Yang Chen was told that he had a visit from a fellow villager, he was happy. Closeness with hometown people is human nature. He went to see Yang Zai, of course, without anyone else accompanying. Yang Chen quickly came to the guest quarters in the Pyongyang Palace. He pondering along the way about what kind of attitude should he show to Yang Zai. Anyway, now that Yang Zai was in the sect to visit him, he was a guest, Yang Chen could not help but treat him accordingly and not immediately try killing him. This was the courtesy of being a host. Although Yang Chen and the Greatest Heaven sect had deep-seated hatred making them not bear to share the same sky. Now, Yang Zai was the one who made it, so he will let him live for a while. The other party's arrival to the sect at this time must have a reason. After all, Yang Chen's reputation had not become this resounding in the previous day or two, how come Yang Zai didn't come to the sect earlier? Yang's eye. Entering the guest quarters, Yang Chen saw Yang's eye, who was drinking tea. Although his heart was already angry and wanted to immediately pull his sword and chop Yang's eye into pieces, he still suppressed his impulse and even faked a look of surprise on his face. But the surprised voice, he called out, "Is it really you?" "Yes." Compared with the surprise on Yang Chen's face, Yang's eye was more like a calm young master, holding the teacup in an elegant position with one hand and with a seemingly noble smile on his face. Then he said very elegantly, "Sit." Here was the guest quarters of the Pyongyang Palace, but Yang's eye instead put on the posture of a host. This tone made Yang Chen look like as if he wanted to laugh. "Long time no see." Yang Chen seemed very natural to be forward and sit on the other side. Yang's eye had already taken the position of the lord, and the one left to Yang Chen, naturally was the seat of the guest. After sitting, Yang Chen naturally said hello, followed by his previous title, Young Master Yang. "I have not seen you since a long time." Yang's eye listened to the form of address Yang Chen gave him, Young Master, and his face showed a smile. This was the title that Yang Chen and other farmers called him within the village. Yang's eye had not heard it for a long time. Listening now, it seemed that he had the feeling of being aloof in the village again. "I don't know what young Master Yang has come to visit for." Yang Chen was having a faint smile on his face while looking at Yang's eye. He wanted to see what Yang's eye was plotting. This martial arts sect is a small sect indeed, even the tea is so low level. Yang's eye sipped from the cup of tea, then frowned, snorted and spit it out of his mouth. This kind of small martial arts sect has no financial resources to produce real experts. If you stay here, there is no future for you. Yang's eye very casually threw the teacup originally in his hand on the table. Then said to him directly, "Come with me and I will give you a good future." A good future? Yang Chen had been a bit strange about Yang's eye's attitude. He was a guest at the sect, but he still had such arrogance. What did this mean? Proposing him a good future didn't mean that he had to point his people and sect in such a derogatory way. Could it be that he really thought that he was still a young master to Yang Chen and everyone should still listen to him? The greatest heaven sect is much better than the Pyongyang Palace. Yang's eye had a sublime face. "Don't say that I don't care about you, there is an opportunity to take you into the greatest heaven sect, the world's #1 martial arts sect. Go back, pack your things and just come with me." Yang Chen seemed to have guessed Yang's eye's intention and he planned to sit in the same place with no intention of moving. Just squinting, looking at Yang's eye with a smile he suddenly said, "Even if they allow me to join them, do you think I am a fool, or do you think that the elders of the greatest heaven sect are fools?" Yang's eye's gaze stared fiercely over, seemingly with some unwillingness, he kept on staring at Yang Chen. "You didn't actually want to pull me to the greatest heaven sect, right?" Yang Chen said with a smile. "Yes." Yang's eye did not expect to have his own mind to be seen through so quickly. Instead, he sat calmly and sneered at Yang Chen, "A little farmer, but still why do you have such achievements? Want to enter the greatest heaven sect too? Dream on. Then what will you tell the people who sent you?" Yang Chen was laughed at by Yang's eye, he had never seen such a person. Even in his previous life, Yang's eye did not seem to be so stupid. "Tell them." Yang's eye sneered, watching Yang Chen for a moment and then continued, "It's easy. You don't know how to appreciate good things. Not only did you not give the greatest heaven sect face, but also swore and insulted. Everyone in the greatest heaven sect will regard you as their life and death enemy and a target to kill. Are you satisfied with this account?" "It sounds good." Yang Chen nodded and seemed to agree with Yang's eye's statement. Then he immediately asked again. "However, I forgot to remind you of a problem." "I am willing to hear the details." Yang's eye asked since his position was set. "I am now a master of the Jidan stage, you are just a foundation stage junior." Yang Chen said with a smile. "I will give you a day, after leaving, flee immediately." Yang's eye's face became very ugly. He always thought that he could control Yang Chen and did not hesitate to put up this posture to anger Yang Chen. It was also because he thought that Yang Chen would have nothing to deal with him. There was no third party in the conversation between the two. Of course, what Yang's eye wanted to say, even he could install even more miserably, Yang Chen's attitude towards the greatest heaven sect was even worse. All of this was in Yang's eye's calculations. Anyway, he had learned from the inadvertent conversations with the greatest heaven sect master the attitude of the greatest heaven sect toward Yang Chen. They let him come to try and see, especially that last sentence, in order to let Yang Chen dispel the psychological pressure of rebellion, they would not hesitate to destroy the Pyongyang Palace. According to this logic, if Yang Chen does not intend to join the greatest heaven sect, then there was only one attitude estimated above, that was, if they couldn't get him, they would rather destroy him and not leave him to others. A master of alchemy such as Yang Chen, which was a treasure to a sect, may be able to make the sect rise. This situation was what all competitors were not willing to see. If Yang Chen was only engaged in the Pure Yang Palace, it was estimated that there would be no major problems. But now the news from the Greatest Heaven Sect was that there was a deep cooperation between the Pure Yang Palace, Blue Cloud Sect and Green Jade Immortal Island. As a result, Yang Chen's role was becoming more and more terrifying. Sitting there and watching the Green Jade Immortal Island and Blue Cloud Sect getting stronger and stronger, it was not the style of the Greatest Heaven Sect. Although Yang Zai did not know much when he left the sect, he also heard several stories about the so-called eliminate the demons and protect the Tao from his predecessors. From these deeds, it was not difficult for Yang Zai to analyze the attitude of the Greatest Heaven Sect to opponents who refused to cooperate. If he couldn't get Yang Chen, the Greatest Heaven Sect would definitely send someone to ruin Yang Chen. They would never wait to see the scenario where under the influence of Yang Chen, the Green Jade Immortal Island and Blue Cloud Sect would develop more than the Greatest Heaven Sect, especially now that the Greatest Heaven Sect was badly hurt. Under these circumstances, this method of secretly weakening competitors must appear frequently. Yang Chen was a senior alchemy master, but since he was not a friend, he was an enemy that must be eradicated. If the Greatest Heaven Sect was not the one who could get Yang Chen, when Yang Zai's feedback was sent to the Greatest Heaven Sect, Yang Chen was destined to be a dead person. The kid from a farmer's family was also better than himself, then it was not enough for him to die. Yang Zai even enjoyed this process. How strong was he, wasn't he played to death by him? Yang Zai was prouder, and his mood was good, this good mood continued until Yang Chen gave him the advice. Yang Chen's words made him a little panicked. In the case of thousands of calculations, Yang Chen's cultivation was higher than him. To kill him would require just a little effort. And Yang Zai obviously had not yet reached the point of ignoring life and death. I am the messenger of the Greatest Heaven Sect, the guest of the Pure Yang Palace. Under panic, Yang Zai shouted with a loud voice. You can't kill me. So I will give you a day to escape. Yang Chen replied with a smile, sitting still in the same place, but the opponent has begun to panic. This feeling made Yang Chen also enjoy himself and send my feedback and my attitude back to the Greatest Heaven Sect. If you kill me, aren't you afraid of the Greatest Heaven Sect's revenge? Yang Zai finally understood that Yang Chen would not move on him now, so his panic was quickly calmed down, and he asked. Whether I kill you or not, the Greatest Heaven Sect will not let me go, isn't it? Yang Chen laughed. He did not think that Yang Zai would behave like this now. In the past, Yang Zai was greedy. In order to snatch his own 10,000 years vermilion fruit and his ambition, he would do that kind of thing for himself. This time, Yang Chen confirmed that he did not provoke Yang Zai from the beginning to the end. He didn't know why Yang Zai wanted to put himself in a death trap. No matter how Yang Chen wanted to break his head and think about it, he would not understand Yang Zai's thoughts. Just because everyone was a fellow villager and before Yang Zai's cultivation, Yang Zai's identity was more noble than Yang Chen's. Now Yang Chen's achievements were higher than Yang Zai's, and he was more able to get the weight of an expert. For this reason, Yang Zai would spare no expense to kill Yang Chen. However, this was also good, at least Yang Chen does not have to think about any reason and could be justified in the pursuit of Yang Zai. Since you understand, then I will not talk any more nonsense. Yang Zai had Yang Chen gave him a day's time and he was full of enthusiasm. He immediately began to swell up. I want to see if you die first, or I will die first. Having said that, Yang Zai already made up his mind. As soon as he leaves, he would rush back to the Greatest Heaven Sect. With Yang Chen's strength, he would not be able to enter the gate of the Greatest Heaven Sect. Anyway, as long as the time of Yang Chen's murder has been sustained, he could sway out. I will remind you of 2 points. Yang Chen still sat still, and he smiled and held out 2 fingers. I want to hear the details. Yang Zai blew his sleeves, sat upright and put on the elegant posture. First. Yang Chen drew a finger and looked at Yang Zai calmly and said I am an alchemy master, moreover I am still a senior alchemist master. How about that? Yang Zai did not know if it was because of the flame of jealousy in him, many things were not considered and he asked a very stupid question. The meaning is that if I am willing to use a questioning inner heart pill to ask for a reward for your head, I believe that there will be elders in the Greatest Heaven Sect that will send me your head. Yang Chen still used that calm voice and reminded him, but there was a lot of teasing in the tone. Yang Zai's proud face lost its blood, he completely forgot about it. He was eager to burn Yang Chen by this opportunity, but he did not think that Yang Chen could easily kill him, even if he didn't have to do it himself. Second. Yang Chen looked at Yang Zai's horrified face and sneered in his heart, reminding him again I said that I would give you a day, now the amount of time for an incense to burn has passed, but if you don't want to put yourself under the pressure, I am willing to keep my promise, you can spend it here. Yang Zai was not the kind of person who would keep his promises. Anyway, if he does not swear by his heart, naturally he would not value it. Yang Chen, who listened to it, said that it was even more shocking. If Yang Chen started here, he would not even have the chance to resist. This time, Yang Zai no longer dared to sit in front of Yang Chen, stood up and hurriedly fled. He walked anxiously, even the door was smashed by a low threshold, slammed out a few steps after that, and stabilized his figure. Without saying anything, he called his flying sword and flew outside the mountain gate. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 334. In Yang Chen's memory of Yang Zai's savvy and insidious character, he would never make such a low-level mistake. Strictly speaking, he could only say that Yang Zai, now, has not grown to the point of his previous life. However, in the Greatest Heaven sect, Yang Zai was by no means popular. At least Yang Chen knew that before Yang Zai's condensation of his golden Dan, he was squeezed by a group of people, and they oppressed him. This led him to seek for a higher status and cultivation base at all costs, even giving his sister to the young sect master as an acolyte. Later, for reasons unknown to him, Yang Zai even killed the Greatest Heaven sect young sect master and blamed it on Yang Chen. His series of means was so fascinating, even the sect master of the Greatest Heaven sect was deceived by him. Whereas today, even if the cause and effect were not completely considered, he came to the sect and wanted to set up a trick to kill Yang Chen. Yang Chen would not care about why Yang Zai has not yet grown up. He just wanted Yang Zai starting from today to live on in fear. In the past life, when Yang Chen was jazzed, there was no shortage of such a day for him. It was too cheap to meet him with a sword and hack Yang Zai to death. At least let him be scared for hundreds of years, then Yang Chen would start to deal with him. He wanted Yang Zai to taste the pains he has suffered in his previous life before he could dispel his hate. Yang Chen always fantasized about how many times he would have to destroy the Greatest Heaven sect to kill Yang Zai, but never thought that one day Yang Zai would have thrown himself into his net. He ran to Yang Chen to let Yang Chen plant a seed of fear in him. Perhaps this was the arrangement of the heavens, since the heavens has let Yang Chen come back once again, and in this way, took the initiative to send Yang Zai over. This was the fulfillment of the heavens' will. For the threat of Yang Zai, Yang Chen did not pay attention to it. If they wanted to kill Yang Chen, it was definitely not just the Greatest Heaven sect. This was something that everyone was aware of. How many genius disciples occasionally perish due to an accident during their cultivation, many of which have become unresolved deaths. Usually they are nothing more than the enemy's hands, the demon hands, or the internal pressure of the Tao sects. It was commonplace in the previous life of Yang Chen. Anyway, if Yang Chen stayed in the Pure Yang Palace, it was absolutely safe. In his previous life, the Pure Yang Palace would be destroyed. However, there were now 2 Dacheng stage masters and 10 Yuning stage ancestors residing within, along with the cooperation with Green Jade Immortal Island and Blue Cloud sect. The 2 major sects would never allow the Pure Yang Palace and Yang Chen to face any accident. If Yang Chen was afraid of death, then he would be shrinking in the Pure Yang Palace, and many people were expecting it. But in this way, Yang Chen would actually be discarding his cultivation. From ancient times to the present, there has never been a timid guy who could make a positive result. Who could cross his tribulation and ascend and has not killed in a battle before. Even if there was no courage to face some enemies or villains, how could they have the courage to face the tribulation, not to mention it as a series of 3 kinds of heavenly tribulations? There was only one result behind closed doors, and that was no longer having the inspiration for breakthroughs. No matter how many books you read, how many seniors inside are read, it was useless. It was better to travel thousands of li than to read thousands of books. This was the truth that the bumps are not broken and the paper has to come to an end, knowing that this matter must be carried out. Hiding in the Pure Yang Palace, perhaps Yang Chen could refine the questioning inner heart pill, maybe also refine the second great inner sensing pill, but that was all. If this was the case, for the Greatest Heaven sect and other sects, the threat was still limited. The Greatest Heaven sect sent Yang Zai to come over, certainly for the sake of winning him over. When they were unable to win him over, it was estimated that this was the idea, to scare Yang Chen, and then he would not dare go out. If Yang Chen was not afraid and went out alone, they would always have the opportunity to seize or kill him. In any case, it was a good calculation. When he scared away Yang Zai, Yang Chen did not care about the results. He directly went to the head of the palace to report to the palace master what had just happened. For some things he had to let the sect make a response plan in advance, otherwise it would always suffer if it was rushed to face battle. Listening that the Greatest Heaven sect even sent a kid who was at the foundation stage to go to the Pure Yang Palace with the identity of the same villager to calculate and try to win over their most valued disciple of his sect, the palace master lost his self-control and yelled abuses directly. There was no demeanor of the Yuning stage ancestor on him now. Not to mention the temperament of a master. After the shouting, the head of the palace assured Yang Chen he has absolute certainty. Among the entire sect, the disciples who were most relieved other than the palace master was estimated to be none other than Yang Chen. The sect must of course respond, but it could not make obvious signs for the greatest heaven sect. Otherwise, the greatest heaven sect would definitely use this to act against the Pure Yang Palace. What they were now scolding was not the Pure Yang Palace, but the Green Jade Immortal Island and the Blue Cloud sect who were rising with the Pure Yang Palace. For a reasonable reason, the greatest heaven sect would definitely seize the Pure Yang Palace into the abyss and destroy the entire alliance. Yang Chen still returned to the Immortal's cave as if nothing happened. Gao Yu and Gongsunling saw that Yang Chen had nothing suspicious in his appearance and did not ask and let Yang Chen continue to absorb the fire seeds. Before, Yang Chen said that he would continue the spiritual awareness double cultivation with Gao Yu and Gongsunling. This time was not wasted. Every other month, Yang Chen and the two women practiced the highest mystery Yin Yang Heart Sutra. The heart could not only reconcile the spiritual awareness but also greatly enhance the conciseness of the two-side spiritual awareness. It was an excellent spiritual awareness double cultivation method. It was a pity that this kind of cultivation method was at hand. For more than a year, the two women could feel their spiritual awareness condensed at a rapid pace. Because the spiritual awareness of Yang Chen, Gao Yu and Gongsunling were now in a relatively balanced stage, the total quantity of spiritual awareness was only growing step by step. But after every spiritual awareness double cultivation, everyone's spiritual awareness was more concise and more stable. He didn't know how Yang's eye would respond to the people of the Greatest Heaven sect when he went back. At least so far, the Greatest Heaven sect had made no signs of doing anything. Of course, it was impossible to start this time. It would be too obvious, and Yang Chen has not come out of the Pure Yang Palace. Even if they wanted to do it, they had no chance. But Yang Chen knew that the Greatest Heaven sect must have listed himself as a key concern. Before he had not shown the effect of changing the strength of the sect. Now that he has such a big role, he had to bear such a big risk. If he wanted to go out in the future, he would have to be careful about the sneak attack of the Greatest Heaven sect or some other sects. It would not be as easy as before. He didn't talk about it to his master and senior sister. Yang Chen was afraid that they would be worried. In Yang Chen's heart, regarding this matter, he didn't care much about it. The direction of his cultivation was actually doomed from the moment he stepped into the Immortal Executioner Stage. It was a road full of killings. Regardless of the wind and waves outside, Yang Chen still acted according to his own pace. In the blink of an eye, another year had passed and the remaining 4th grade fire seeds were all absorbed into the profound spirit furnace. Yang Chen has already planned to start absorbing 5th grade fire seeds. So far, the profound spirit furnace has absorbed hundreds of mortal flames and the entire pill furnace has changed from a crystal clear state to another. It was a kind of change to its simple natural state after absorbing hundreds kinds of fire seeds, combined with all the cyan crystal profound gold of Yang Chen and many carefully selected materials by Yang Chen. After absorbing countless potions, now looking past it, the profound spirit furnace was like a medicine pot that was used by ordinary people. It was ordinary, simple and unremarkable. But this profound spirit furnace, it was not known how many times the effect was compared to when it was crystal clear. As long as Yang Chen holds the profound spirit furnace, even if he does not practice alchemy, he could feel that his alchemy skills were improving. The ability to control the flame was also more and more sophisticated. No matter which kind of flame, Yang Chen felt like it was like controlling his arm. Associated with this, Yang Chen's yin-yang burning heavenly fire seems to be a bit active. There were also 4 kinds of 5th grade fire seeds in his hands. Yang Chen was hesitating about whether to absorb these fire seeds first or to refine the questioning inner heart pills of the Blue Cloud sect. When Gao Yu and Gongsunling knew why Yang Chen was hesitation, they were speechless. In the end, Gao Yu helped Yang Chen to decide to absorb the fire seeds and then refine the pills later. Anyway, it was only a year away from each other. For these cultivators, it was not a problem at all. In accordance with his master's instructions, Yang Chen continued to absorb these 5th grade fire seeds. The 5th grade fire seeds were the same type of fire as the True Sun fire and True Moon fire, and it was also the highest grade of fire seed in the current profound spirit furnace. It would take longer to absorb these kinds of fire seeds. Fortunately, now the profound spirit furnace has absorbed hundreds of kinds of flames, including several kinds of 5th grade fire seeds. Absorbing a 5th grade fire seed would take about 3 or 4 months, compared to the previous speed, it was simply several times faster. 1 year passed in a hurry and 4 kinds of 5th grade fire seeds have also been absorbed into the profound spirit furnace. At this point, Yang Chen's fire seeds he received from the Blue Cloud sect and the Green Jade Immortal Island and have all been absorbed into the profound spirit furnace. It was no exaggeration to say that almost all of the fire seeds below the 4th grade have been covered by the profound spirit furnace. The fire seeds of more than the 4th grade has also fallen into the hands of Yang Chen. At this time, if there was someone who wanted to compare the person with the most fire seeds, Yang Chen would definitely be the victor. The absorption of these kinds of fire seeds was equivalent to the compensation paid by the Blue Cloud sect in advance, and Yang Chen was also asking for refinement in any case. When Yang Chen used the Profound Spirit Furnace to start alchemy, Yang Chen really discovered how powerful the current Profound Spirit Furnace was. Once the medicinal herbs was put into the Profound Spirit Furnace, even if it was not controlled by Yang Chen, it would be automatically refined, and the heat was always just right. It was just like the Profound Spirit Furnace had a consciousness and could automatically control the fire. What made Yang Chen unexpectedly add to the surprise was that when he began to control his own refining process, he started directly with the second refining system and even did not need to go through the refining method of the first grade. This also means that if the alchemy was carried out according to the normal method, the Profound Spirit Furnace would directly come out with a second grade pill. All the medicinal pills were upgraded by a grade. If Yang Chen wanted to carry out the second refining system of the medicinal herbs in the Profound Spirit Furnace, it would probably turn into third grade medicinal pills. When Yang Chen was building his foundation, he could refine the third grade foundation stage pills, which indicated that Yang Chen was already a third grade alchemy master. Now counting the efficiency of the Profound Spirit Furnace, Yang Chen has actually become a 4th grade alchemy master because he could now refine the 4th grade foundation stage pills. The 4th grade alchemy master, who was already the top alchemist in the mortal world, he has never heard of an alchemy master who could break through from the 4th grade alchemist master realm in the mortal world. In the past, the main force of refining the heaven-seizing pill was Deng Yi of the Heavenly Lake School and was just a 4th grade alchemy master. It was estimated that if Deng Yi could cross the tribulation and ascend, then before crossing the tribulation, Deng Yi could only be a 4th grade alchemist master, and it was impossible to improve. You must know that Deng Yi was a Yuanying stage ancestor, and Yang Chen was still only at the early stage of the Jitan realm. With Yang Chen's growth rate in the Tao of alchemy, it was a certain thing for him to become a 4th grade alchemist master without using the Profound Spirit Furnace when he reached the Yuanying stage. At that time, when Yang Chen used the Profound Spirit Furnace again to refine a 5th grade medicinal pill, it would definitely be an alchemy record of anyone who has come before. No one in the mortal world would have a higher achievement than Yang Chen in the Tao of alchemy. For Yang Chen, this was definitely good news, but at the moment, Yang Chen was in amazement and also had some helplessness. Now the questioning inner heart pills that he was refining was for the Blue Cloud sect. When it comes out, it would be at the 2nd grade. Doesn't it mean that the questioning inner heart pills that Yang Chen would give to them would all be 2nd grade pills? This was obviously impossible. Yang Chen should consider the balance between the Green Jade Immortal Island and the Blue Cloud sect. Once Yang Chen let the two sect masters think he was unfair, it would not be good news for the Pure Yang Palace. Therefore, this alchemy furnace that was close to the immortal tool pill furnace, Yang Chen, was not only unable to exert all the power of the Profound Spirit Furnace, but he also must suppress it to control the Profound Spirit Furnace, not to make 2nd grade questioning inner heart pills. Refining the 1st grade questioning inner heart pills with this furnace was even more difficult than Yang Chen refining the 2nd grade questioning inner heart pills. Fortunately, after all, the quality of the furnace was improved and the time for refining was greatly shortened. Originally, refining it took a year and 10 months, but this time, after Yang Chen completed the steps to receive the pills, it was only a year later. This was already the 4th refining Yang Chen had done, and it has become more and more sophisticated. In addition, the strength of the Profound Spirit Furnace had increased, although he has tried hard to suppress it, but the questioning inner heart pills were better than ordinary questioning inner heart pills. According to Yang Chen's own judgment, it should be between the 1st grade and the 2nd grade. The questioning inner heart pills of this quality, it was completely possible to cross, even if the Green Jade Immortal Island had some doubts. After all, refining techniques are more and more sophisticated. If the Green Jade Immortal Island wanted it, they could continue to cooperate with the Pure Yang Palace. Yang Chen could provide the same quality of pills. At this point, Yang Chen's need to stay in the sect has been completed. Next, whether he was to gather the 7th metal true essence or 10th water true essence, he needed to go out. Yang Chen arrived at the days when he needed to leave the Pure Yang Palace again. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 335. We also have a flight magical weapon. This time, the quality of these questioning inner heart pills are anyway, before Yang Chen planned to go out and practice, many things had to be arranged. At least the pill which he refined for the Blue Cloud sect must be handed over. Zhu Chentao, the master of the medicinal hall, took over these pills and soon discovered the abnormality of the medicinal pills. Why, is there a problem? The lord of the palace was shocked. If the medicinal pills of the Blue Cloud sect were ruined, it would be difficult to explain. It was said that Yang Chen would not make such a mistake. Was it amiss? No. Zhu Chentao shook his head and took a careful look at a questioning inner heart pill. This time, Yang Chen's alchemy confused him. Zhu Chentao did not know what happened during the refining process. Therefore, he observed it very carefully and replied casually. It is a bit too good. Is it a second-grade pill? The master of the palace was relieved and the worry in his heart was finally laid down. But he immediately frowned. If it was a second-grade pill, then it could not be easily handed over to the Blue Cloud sect. No, it is still a first-grade medicinal pill, but the quality is much better than that of the Green Jade Immortal Islands. After Zhu Chentao was promoted to the wielding stage, the ability of his spiritual awareness to explore the quality of pills was more skillful and his judgment was much more accurate. After a long time of observation, he has already confirmed the quality of this batch of questioning inner heart pills. Listening to Zhu Chentao's judgment, the eyes of the head of the palace were transferred to Yang Chen. Zhu Chentao also looked over and seemed to be waiting for Yang Chen to give a reasonable explanation. Sorry, I didn't control it for a while. Yang Chen faced the two big eyes and he only gave a little helpless explanation, but his look seemed to be innocent. Yang Chen's expressions and words directly made the palace master and Zhu Chentao silent. This level of medicinal pill, it could also be said that the quality was excellent, but he did not control it. Would this news not make many alchemy masters feel embarrassed? If someone else doesn't control it, it would be the destruction of the pills, but Yang Chen's pills were actually more than ordinary. What was the meaning of this? They became speechless, but both the master and Zhu Chentao could understand what these pills mean. If it works properly, the Pure Yang Palace would definitely get more benefits. The head of the palace was even anticipating the expression of the people of the Blue Cloud sect when they got these pills. As for how to explain to the Green Jade Immortal Island, it was very easy. The more the refining was, the better the skills would become. Naturally, if there was better quality, it was nothing strange. If the Green Jade Immortal Island wanted to continue cooperation, the Pure Yang Palace would never refuse. Handing over the pills to the head of the palace, Yang Chen had already completed one task. At least the transaction with the Blue Cloud sect was considered to be preliminary done, and they would only be waiting for the income for the Pure Yang Palace in the next few decades. Next, Yang Chen would consider going out to collect the 7th metal true essence and 10th water true essence. This was the key to Yang Chen's great yin and yang, 5-element secret art golden core. According to the normal practice, with the experience and sentiment of Yang Chen Great Principle Golden Immortal memory, plus many elixirs, Yang Chen was able to let his remaining spirit power condense. However, if he used this method, Yang Chen would only have a kind of spiritual power golden core. Each estimate requires Yang Chen to spend about 10 years. In this way, it would take 70 years to fully condense the golden core. This was what Yang Chen was not willing to wait for. The great yin and yang 5-element secret art also paid attention to balance. In the 70 years, the fire attribute of the first condensed Dan must have reached the middle Jiten stage, and the last condensed Dan would only be at the early Jiten stage. The difference in the Jiten stage was not as small as the foundation stage. If the cultivation base had decades of difference, it would inevitably disrupt the balance of Yang Chen's yin-yang 5 elements. The emergence of Yang's eye let Yang Chen understand that the greatest heaven sect's high level has made up their mind to eliminate himself. This was not only a pressure for Yang Chen, but also a driving force. Fortunately in this life, he was not like in his previous life. The Pure Yang Palace was getting stronger and stronger. Even if the greatest heaven sect wanted to deal with him, it would not be possible for them to be brazen, they could only go about it secretly. This was the same as Yang Chen's need to deal with the greatest heaven sect. For the time being, it cannot be made public. However, if the other party wanted to remove himself in secret, then they must bear the loss of the manpower, but they couldn't get the upper hand. Even if he openly kills the other person, they could only bite their teeth and swallow. Bao Yu and Gong Sunling practiced very hard. After Yang Chen saw Yang's eye the last time, he finally said Yang Lan's intention. The behemoth of the greatest heaven sect had a murderous heart for Yang Chen. The two women suddenly felt a terrible pressure. It seems that they intended to share some pressure with Yang Chen, and for the sake of themselves not becoming the burden of Yang Chen, they almost went on a crazy cultivation spree. In this regard, Yang Chen persuaded them many times, but the speed was not let up. The two women could not easily let themselves relax. Yang Chen could only let the two women go crazy. This time when Yang Chen went out for a trip, he must be ready to give the two women their life source flying swords. From the rare materials obtained from the Banyan Cave house, Yang Chen gave them to his master. She was a master of refining, and with these things, she could definitely improve her level quickly. Before leaving, Yang Chen did not forget to go to the ancestor Wang Yong. On one hand, it was to let the ancestor pay more attention to the safety of Gao Yu, on the other hand, it was to find the ancestor to ask him to promise to refine the second city lord's body for Gao Yu. The corpse of the second city master was reflected in the fact that it has been refined into a flying eagle, but the final step was still to be completed. After Wang Yong's promotion to the daching stage, he did not do anything else and he was fully committed to refining this flying eagle. He also knew that this was the last card that Yang Chen prepared for Gao Yu, so he was very careful. In fact, Wang Yong knew that after Yang Chen was able to refine the second inner sensing pill, he knew that his own grand disciple who had such a great talent in the Tao of alchemy would definitely cause many people's worries and dissatisfaction. Wang Yong, who was already a master of the daching stage, knew the cruelty of the cultivation world more than anyone else, so he was also trying to get Yang Chen out of trouble. There are always many challenges in cultivation, go. Wang Yong's attitude toward Yang Chen was far freer and easier than Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling. Without tempering, he would never become extraordinary. The path of cultivation was not smooth. For Yang Chen's safety, Wang Yong was almost never worried. The speed of the shuttle has been personally seen by Wang Yong, he could always escape and even the powerful second city lord had died in Yang Chen's hands. He believed that others could not pose much danger to Yang Chen. The greatest heaven sect people have always been arrogant and if you meet them on any occasions, don't hold back. Since Wang Yong passed the yin fire tribulation, his temperament changed greatly, not only the incomparable self-confidence in cultivation, but also the threat of treatment no matter what, you just have to remember that the sect is always behind you. Remember, we are not afraid of anyone, including the greatest heaven sect. When leaving, Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling just sent Yang Chen off in Immortal's cave and did not follow Yang Chen outside. They knew that Yang Chen couldn't always stay in the Pure Yang Palace as a coward. Yang Chen did not fly away with the shuttle at the beginning, but first flew to the market of the Myking Mountain with his flying sword. Here, the first thing Yang Chen did was to send news to Shangyu and Feng through certain channels and use a pound of high-grade spirit stone to buy Yang Lan's head. Yang Lan was just a late foundation stage cultivator. A pound of high-grade spirit stone has surpassed the limit of the reward needed for a foundation stage expert. There would be many guys interested in this business. Although it would be absolutely easy to get Yang Lan's head with a larger reward such as the questioning inner heart pill, that would make him get killed too easily. Only with this kind of price, just beyond the general market prices, would have Yang Lan live in the fear of being killed and spend every day in fear. When Yang Chen appeared in the market, many people had their eyes on him, but here was still within the scope of the Myking Mountain, the site of the Pure Yang Palace, different from the past, no one dares to scatter in the site of the Pure Yang Palace now. The anger of the two daching stage masters was by no means acceptable to anyone. Very contradictory things, no one dares to face the Pure Yang Palace on the bright side, but many people were secretly going out with the idea of the most powerful alchemy master in Pure Yang Palace. This was reality, it was never said on the bright side. When Yang Chen drove the flying sword away from the Myking Mountain, he did not know how many eyes stared at the direction he was threading until his figure disappeared into the sky, only then did many talents slowly recover their gaze. Just as Yang Chen intended to adjust his direction and call the shuttle to fly to the direction where the golden star of the sun left behind the seventh metal true essence, the spiritual awareness imprint that was hiding in his sea of consciousness suddenly gave a strange flash. With Yang Chen's current understanding of his sea of consciousness, the spiritual awareness imprint that was wrapped by his spiritual awareness could flash, this was by no means what ordinary people could do. This group of spiritual awareness imprint, the last time Yang Chen went to the Dragon Palace treasure house, some people used it to chase after him. At that time, Yang Chen constantly threw some things with the mark of spiritual awareness into the ocean, causing a group of the chasing guys to be attacked by monsters, and finally Yang Chen easily killed them after coming out of the treasure chest. The only mark of the spiritual awareness that was kept, Yang Chen intended to use it to follow the other side, after waiting for his strength to improve, then he would think of a counter-attack. Being able to respond under Yang Chen's early daching stage spiritual awareness threads, it was sure that the master of the spiritual awareness imprint has been helped by a master of the daching stage. The imprint of the spiritual awareness left in the past was inexplicably missing, no one could trace it. Yang Chen also dragged on for too long and almost forgot about it. Unexpectedly, the other party actually started to trace this imprint near the Myking Mountain. This was a master of the daching stage or an expert who have the spiritual awareness of the daching stage. Only the level similar to Yang Chen's spiritual awareness could cause the vibration of the spiritual awareness. Since the other party was coming to him, Yang Chen would certainly not be polite, he would still entertain them. Because of the existence of the shuttle in the sea, it was almost the home of Yang Chen immediately changed his direction. The other party had suffered a big loss in the sea the last time, so they must be prepared this time. However, Yang Chen was not afraid at all. The other party seems to be very prepared. However, it was impossible to know his destination by relying on the spiritual awareness imprint. It was only decided by Yang Chen where he wanted to go. Since the spiritual awareness imprint could vibrate once, the other party has once again traced Yang Chen. Yang Chen was not afraid of the other party, he called out the shuttle and just found a direction, he then flew there at full speed. Letting the other party know that their destination was arranged in advance was not the style of Yang Chen. It was necessary to use the high speed of the shuttle. It was good to play with these tracking guys before he led them to the final battlefield. There was such an opportunity after coming out from the retreat after his refining. Yang Chen was eager to move his muscles. Yang Chen also had no specific goals in the direction from his random selection. It was only after 2 hours that the spiritual awareness imprint had shaken again. The vibration was very slight, but in the sea of consciousness of Yang Chen, it was very clear. The other party was not close to himself, he was at least 1,000 miles behind. Yang Chen didn't know what the other party was going to do to catch up with him, but it was not within his consideration. After flying for almost 3 or 5 days, Yang Chen changed his direction very casually. It was repeated 3 times and 5 times, after half a month, even Yang Chen does not know where the front may lead, let alone the guys who were tracking him. However, the other party was obviously going to follow the fate of Yang Chen. On the way, the spiritual awareness imprint would vibrate once every half day, and the vibration became stronger each time. Yang Chen didn't know what it was it that the strength of the guy who was tracking himself still improving? He didn't understand, Yang Chen simply didn't think much about it, he just gave it a quick thought. On the way forward, Yang Chen had been in the shuttle, and he didn't neglect his cultivation. The leisurely control of the fire seeds into the profound spirit furnace, the separation of a third-grade fire seed, making the yin-yang heaven-burning fire fuse with it. A month's time was enough for Yang Chen to merge and devour a third-grade fire seed, and the yin-yang heaven-burning fire grew a bit. After 4 or 5 consecutive changes, Yang Chen finally determined a direction and then rushed toward the sea. But this time it was not the direction of the East China Sea, but the direction of the South China Sea. There was no stop on the way. After this election, there was no change. After 1 month, Yang Chen's shuttle rushed to the South Sea. When he arrived at the beach, Yang Chen did not stop at all. The shuttle plunged into the sea and went straight into the sea. He turned slightly westward on the seafloor and swam rapidly toward the depths of the sea. Less than half an hour after Yang Chen entered the sea, there was a ship-shaped magic weapon that appeared on the beach. This magic weapon was very big. It looked like a pointed-headed sailboat. It didn't stop falling on the surface of the sea. The wind and power were generally chased down in the direction of Yang Chen. Even on the sea, the sailboat has maintained an amazing speed. If Yang Chen saw it, he would be surprised. The speed of this sailing boat was not slower than that of Yang Chen's shuttle, and it could almost go hand in hand. In the cabin of the sailboat, a few figures were sitting on a plate, motionless. The brave man in the center, looking at a compass in front of him, the pointer of the compass, referred to the direction of Yang Chen. He thought that only he had a flying magic weapon, hey, this time let him die without a place to bury. After reading the compass, the brave man suddenly snorted, on his hands, a stroke pair of crystal clear wings suddenly appeared, it became bigger and flew outside the cabin and fixed on the ship's side. The wings suddenly flickered, the speed of the sailing boat almost doubled, and chased Yang Chen. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 336. Series of Incidents. Yang Chen, being at the bottom of the sea, did not expect it at all that the other party still had such a trick. For so many years, Yang Chen relied on the shuttle he got from the Dragon Palace treasure house to move around unhindered. Guan Yuing and Luo Yuan had been taught a lesson because of the shuttle. Luo Yuan even lost his life because he could not catch up with Yang Chen. When he drove the shuttle, nobody was able to catch up with Yang Chen. Yang Chen only met such an event once, that was the second city lord whose main body was a Goshik. The second city lord had a daching stage cultivation base and was by itself a flying monster, so his speed was very fast, but catching up to him was very difficult for him. All of these made Yang Chen and the pure Yang Palace people have an unusual confidence in Yang Chen's shuttle. It seems that as long as Yang Chen has the shuttle in hand, it would be impossible for others to catch up with him. Everyone thought that it was impossible for others to catch up with Yang Chen in the shuttle, and Yang Chen seems to have forgotten that although the shuttle was taken from the Dragon Palace and its grade was very high, the shuttle has not yet reached its limit. It was closely related to Yang Chen's cultivation. The Jidan stage cultivation base was only able to bring out part of the speed of the shuttle, not all. Yang Chen, who was speeding along on the bottom of the sea, did not notice that a winged sailboat on the sea was turbulent and that it was catching up with himself at a speed that was nearly double that of the shuttle. He let the other party follow him in circles for more than a month, just to make the other party unable to determine his destination, so that he could set a trap in advance. When they came to the sea, it was basically Yang Chen who had the final say. If it wasn't for the old man in the sky, the water-dividing wings couldn't be blessed on the ship and we wouldn't have caught up with this little animal. On the sailboat, watching the pointer on the compass swing faster and faster, the owner of the wings sneered again and again, "You really thought the sea was your world?" The several people sitting next to each other also slowly stood up and began to prepare for the next battle. Their goal this time was very clear. They must seize Yang Chen or kill him. They couldn't let Yang Chen return to the Pure Yang Palace. A few months ago, the Greatest Heaven sect received some secret news that the Green Jade Immortal Island and the Blue Cloud sect successively made deals with the Pure Yang Palace. They would provide enormous benefits to the Pure Yang Palace in exchange for dozens of questioning inner heart pills. This news shocked the high-ranking members of the Greatest Heaven sect. Under the circumstances that the Greatest Heaven sect was bombed and their vitality was severely injured, the Green Jade Immortal Island and the Blue Cloud sect got dozens of questioning inner heart pills. What could this mean? It was really scary to think about it. If they let this situation develop, it would take less than a few years and the name of the number one sect of the Tao sects would be changed. For a moment, these high-ranking members in the Greatest Heaven sect were eager to get a senior alchemist master like Yang Chen. If the fellow who was responsible for picking up the disciples did not throw Yang Chen out of the gate, how good would it be? It was a pity that everything was late now. The news that Yang Lan brought back, Yang Chen was not only unappreciative, but he was also scornful of the Greatest Heaven sect. It was obviously impossible to let Yang Chen take the initiative to come to them, so the rest was either to capture Yang Chen alive, to force him to be their sex alchemist, or to kill him and never suffer from it, but regardless of that, there was a premise. It was for them to do their possible best to get a certain secret manual or alchemy recipes from Yang Chen. The guy who could refine the heaven-seizing pill in the foundation stage could never be born naturally. The only explanation was that Yang Chen had an adventure and got a strong alchemy secret manual, otherwise they could not explain his enchanting performance. This secret manual was definitely found in the countless miscellaneous books he read. The Greatest Heaven sect was convinced of this. Yang Chen's habit of reading miscellaneous books has long been known to all. There must be such a book for Yang Chen to have such a level of alchemy talent. The Greatest Heaven sect sent a strong lineup this time. Last time, they just randomly dispatched a few of their members in the Rogue Cultivators Alliance, but nothing was left by Yang Chen. This time, the Greatest Heaven sect attached great importance to it, so all the people they sent were at the Yuning stage. For Yang Chen's combat effectiveness, to tell the truth, the Greatest Heaven sect did not care much about it. Yang Chen was even more powerful. Even if Li Qichen could be killed in the early stage of the Foundation realm, it would be just a small fight. Maybe he might use a certain powerful medicinal pill. The person was even more powerful, but after all it was limited, but Yang Chen's medicinal pills were worthy of dozens of masters. This was the thing that made the Greatest Heaven sect jealous. 6 Yuning stage masters to deal with Yang Chen, in the view of the Greatest Heaven sect elders, was more than enough. Not only that, but there were also 2 magic weapons that were refined by Daching stage masters. One was the tracking compass to specifically track the spiritual awareness imprint of a certain person. The other was the sailing boat that everyone was riding. This was a small and famous magic weapon of the Greatest Heaven sect, but the reputation was only spread in the sect of the Greatest Heaven sect, and it has not been circulated. Sailboats were just a bit faster, and there were no other advantages to it, so others would not pay too much attention to it. However, if the sailboat was coupled with the water-dividing wings of the robust man, it would be able to more than double the speed of the sailboat in the sea. This was the trump card of the Greatest Heaven sect this time. Initiating the vibration of the spiritual awareness imprint, it was also the fact that these guys knocked on the mountain and took the initiative to let Yang Chen discover that they were tracking him. They had analyzed Yang Chen's several actions. Whether it was killing others or being chased by Luo Yuan, Yang Chen liked to run to the sea. So they knew that Yang Chen would definitely return to the sea. It was estimated that Yang Chen's plans were not enough. The enemy has already thoroughly studied his behavior and even his final destination has been counted. Anyway, as long as they got to the sea, Yang Chen's speed that he was proud of could no longer be relied on. Water subdue fire, Yang Chen's spirit root which was fire, could be subdued by the water attribute spiritual roots. With the 5 Yuning stage masters, it was estimated that there would be no residue left behind by Yang Chen. At the beginning, Yang Chen just rushed to the road and planned to find some powerful monsters to use, but he did not think that the enemy's speed would be so fast. As soon as the sailboat entered Yang Chen's detective range, Yang Chen noticed the existence of the sailboat but could not know how many people were inside the sailboat. This sailing boat was effectively shielded against the exploration of the spiritual awareness. At this time, Yang Chen was already on the bottom of the sea thousands of miles away. No matter how he fled, it was already too late. The speed of the other side was far more than the shuttle, the die has been cast. Yang Chen had no possibility of running away. In less than an hour, the sailboat has already reached the top of Yang Chen. Looking at Yang Chen's futile efforts to escape in all directions, the leading brawny gave a scornful laugh. When you get to the sea, nobody can help you. After saying this, the strong man waved his hand and directed at the other 5 masters. Set up the formation. The 5 Wielding stage ancestors were almost like one person with the same movement. They took a flag each and instantly threw it into the sea. With 5 people simultaneously providing the input of spiritual power, the 5-faced flag, in the moment of contact with the sea surface, instantaneously, along a circumference of 100 miles, was directly surrounded by a dense fog. The original sea with some waves suddenly became calm and there was no wave tumbling. Yang Chen, who was looking around for a chance to escape, suddenly felt his speed slow down and his heart became slightly surprised. His spiritual awareness immediately discovered that the surrounding seawater suddenly turned into ice and the entire shuttle was frozen. Although the shuttle could still maintain a certain speed in the ice, it could no longer reach half of its initial speed. At this point, Yang Chen had no possibility of running away. Although this method was not very damaging, even if Yang Chen used a sea jasper, it would be impossible to escape from the formation. In order to trap Yang Chen, the greatest heaven sect painstakingly prepared this time around and they even refined this set of sea-sealing flag array. The sudden change made Yang Chen startled, the shuttle was put away and people had already appeared in the middle of the sea. The flame of the yin-yang heaven burning fire instantly wrapped around his whole body and he quickly flew towards the sea level. Although the current yin-yang heaven burning fire was still very weak, this level of freezing could not compete with the yin-yang heaven burning fire. The other party just cut off the possibility of his escape. The real trump was still the 5 Wielding stage ancestors with water attribute spiritual roots. From the sailboat, Yang Chen discovered the figures of the 5 Wielding stage ancestors. The reason why he flew to the surface of the sea was that in the sea, unless he used the long river of blood, he was not an opponent to the 5 water attribute Wielding stage ancestors. In the air, maybe there would still be a chance for him in the fight. Regarding Yang Chen's plan, the Wielding stage ancestors who pursued did not care. In their opinion, for 6 of them to deal with one person was already a big advantage for them. It was not that they were looking down on Yang Chen, but to deal with a little guy who has just been condensed for 20 or 30 years, there was no possibility of failure. This time, their calculations were comprehensive. For Yang Chen's combat power and possession of magic weapons, the greatest heaven sect had calculated everything. The shuttle was now abolished. Yang Chen originally had a wood attribute flying sword, which he used to kill the old devil Lin Chang, but it was not in line with his own attributes, so the power would not be too great when used. Bao Yu also refined a bright ray sword for Yang Chen. This was Yang Chen's best flying sword now, but compared to their 3 life source magic weapons, his weapon was nothing at all. The reason why there were only 3 pieces of the magic weapon was that the 3 of them were lost in the vicinity of the Pure Yang Palace last time and have not yet recovered it. Of course, this account should also be counted on Yang Chen's head. Apart from this, Yang Chen had no other magic weapon to use, or at least the greatest heaven sect's Wielding stage ancestors thought so. In other words, Yang Chen's now sturdy and unspoken body was estimated to be caused by some kind of lame refining. What kind of refining technique could make the body change so much? It's no wonder that Yang Chen's feeling have never been easy. It was necessary to kill people with his hands. Therefore, those who truly understood how powerful an enemy Yang Chen was have already lost their lives. Those who rely on the exact news to judge Yang Chen's magic weapon were destined to make mistakes. Yang Chen's figure soon reached the surface of the sea. On the sea, the 5 Wielding stage ancestors each occupied a direction, surrounding Yang Chen in a group, but they were not in a hurry. The role of the sea-sealing flag. Yang Chen, I will give you a chance. My sect will give you the chance to join us, as long as you don't put up a fight, we will not kill you. The strong man who was flying in the air on the sailboat watched Yang Chen appear in the encirclement among them and coldly said. Speak less nonsense. Yang Chen screamed, his eyes fixed on the 5 people around him. It seemed as if he was afraid that they would suddenly start to attack him. If you don't accept our goodwill, then go to hell. The face of the strong man had not changed. It seemed that he had expected Yang Chen to say something like this in general, and he was just making a routine persuasion. He simply did not intend to let Yang Chen live. The 5 Wielding stage ancestors on the sea seemed to have received their orders, and their 5 flying swords were sent and attacked towards Yang Chen in the middle. Yang Chen did not dare to take the attack head-on, his mind moved and the golden bell came out immediately, it condensed outside his body and Yang Chen was strictly guarded in it. In just a blink of an eye, the 5 flying swords had already reached the golden bell. Buzz, a heavy bell sound, revealed from the golden bell, rang around Yang Chen. What Yang Chen expected in that situation was that several of the siege men would be shocked and injured by the golden bell did not happen. The five-faced flag trembled at the moment when the bell rang, and an invisible barrier directly surrounded the five Yuning stage ancestors. The frozen sea at the foot of Yang Chen suddenly turned into ice powder, the thick layer was directly shattered by the bell sound. However, the tremor of the flag was not stopped, and the five Yuning stage ancestors had not been hurt at all, as if all the bell attacks had been redirected to the ice by the flag. The shuttle and the golden bell, the two magic weapons, were all having problems today. It must be said that the other party's preparations were comprehensive, and Yang Chen was very surprised. However, those who were even more surprised was the enemy of Yang Chen. The sealing sea flag array was so powerful that they knew better than anyone else. The array of five Yuning stage ancestors was almost collapsed unexpectedly by the sound of Yang Chen's bell. If not for everyone immediately stabilizing their positions, they might have been beaten by Yang Chen. Even the brawny man who had been staying on the sailboat was also surprised. The sailboat itself had the power of protection, but just after the bell rang, he almost couldn't control the sailboat. What was this golden bell, why was it so powerful? The flying swords of the five Yuning stage ancestors could not hurt Yang Chen. The brawny man's eyes showed a greedy glint. Such a magic weapon, if it was his own magic weapon, how good would it be? This method was really annoying, several times in a row it let Yang Chen be very dissatisfied with his sealing sea flag array. Immediately without hesitation, it was stimulated by his spirit and the bell rang again and spread toward the four sides. Yang Chen did not believe that the opponent's formation could be more powerful, that it could resist the attack of several bells. It was not expected that Yang Chen would have such a powerful attacking means, and the five Yuning stage ancestors would not be able to attack Yang Chen at all times, while also fully mobilizing their defense. Although Yang Chen's bell attack was fierce, it consumed spiritual power, with five people working together, even if they were tired, Yang Chen would also be tired. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 337. Breaking through the enemy lines. One could not help but say that this method was very suitable for the besieged. Especially in the ocean, it was still timed by 5 water attribute spirit roots. Even if Yang Chen's golden bell was more harmful to the spiritual awareness, almost all of the bell's attacks were absorbed by the array. Within the scope of the formation, there was crushed ice everywhere, but the 5 Yuning stage ancestors did not suffer the slightest damage. From the perspective of spiritual power, the 5 Yuning stage ancestors' own has already far exceeded Yang Chen's spiritual power level. What's more, when they talked about the realm, they were also superior to Yang Chen. In this level of confrontation, the formation of 5 people was firmly having the upper hand. However, it does not mean that Yang Chen was completely powerless. After all, the golden bell was a weapon that came out of the treasure house of the Dragon Palace. Although the 5 people blocked the golden bell attack by Yang Chen, they were unable to attack, so the two sides went into a stalemate. It was not that the 5 people didn't want to attack, but some of them were slightly distracted and they couldn't immediately gain clarity from the bell sound. Without the little bit of the blessing from the formation, they would have immediately tasted a great sorrow. Who would dare to be distracted? The array constrained all the attacks of the bell, so the strong man on the sailboat outside the array did not suffer the slightest damage. From the beginning of the attack, he controlled the sailboat to fly into the air. He was the general commander of the attack, but when he saw that the 5 Yuning masters and a sea-sealing flag array could not take care of Yang Chen, a small Jitan stage younger generation junior, he could not help but frown. Being out of the field, the strong man could of course see that the magic weapon that they didn't know where Yang Chen got it and that they didn't know beforehand of had a strong attacking power. Now he was deadlocked with 5 people and no one could help him. Seeing this happening, the brawny man would certainly not tolerate it. The 6 Yuning stage ancestors had to deal with a master of the Jitan stage unexpectedly. Although it was only by the formation that Yang Chen could be trapped and not to let him escape, even if they could kill Yang Chen, they would need to be assisted by the formation, and if they could not do it, it would be a shame. At the moment when his brow wrinkled, there appeared a flying sword around the strong man. During his meditation, the flying sword went silently to Yang Chen in the lineup. Yang Chen was dealing with a siege of 5 people and could no longer afford to deal with another sudden attack. The flying sword flew very quickly and went to slam into the head of Yang Chen. However, Yang Chen in the array seems to have already expected this, there appeared a flying sword in his hands. It was the bright ray sword that everyone knew about. What was strange was that Yang Chen did not have the sword in defense, but he caught the flying sword in his hand. When the flying sword of the strong man approached, Yang Chen waved the sword. But the soft bang, Yang Chen's sword blocked the strong man flying sword, the sound that came was from Yang Chen attacking the other side's flying sword, and at the same time, his spirit stirred up and knocked the golden bell on his body. The bell sounded at just the moment when Yang Chen's bright ray sword and the strong man flying sword met. The melodious bell passed directly through the two swords and passed to the ears of the strong man. If the strong man had been outside the battle, in a short time, Yang Chen wouldn't have been able to do anything to him, but he couldn't wait and attacked on his own initiative. It was simply an easy thing for his spiritual awareness to know that the sword was within the range of Yang Chen's bell attack. Boom, the brawny only felt the moment when the two swords intersected and suddenly a huge bomb seems to have exploded in his mind and there was a blank inside his brain. When the bell rang, the flying sword lost control and fell directly into the formation. The brawny man on the sailboat seemed to have fallen into a coma. For a time, he could no longer control the sailboat and the wings. The two magic weapons lost their master's control and began to slowly descend from the air. In the sea-sealing flag array, the 5 Wielding stage ancestors were shocked. While trying to maintain the battle against Yang Chen's attack, they could not help but become dazed. Under the circumstances that such a number of people were dominant, if they have to intervene at will and not understand the situation, this would be the end. Although they relied on the power of the array to block the attack of the golden bell, they could only do their best to hold on, and there was no spare power to check on the brawny man. After this judgment error, the brawny man paid a painful price. However, this attack of the strong man was not without any effect. With Yang Chen's efforts to resist the flying sword of the strong man, the 5 array flags of the sea-sealing flag array had been narrowed to a large circle. The scope of the array has also been reduced by more than half. When the range of the array became smaller, for the 5 Wielding stage ancestors, it meant the increase of power and the reduction of controlling power, but for Yang Chen, it was not so wonderful. The most important thing was that after the defense of the array was enhanced, it was already impossible to start a counterattack. The attack of the golden bell has been completely bound in the array, and even the ice under his feet could only break in a small area. Now Yang Chen could not depend on the golden bell, he could not effectively improve the attack method of the golden bell, as he only knew this single method. Fortunately, with the protective body function of the golden bell, even if Yang Chen was attacked in the battle, it could only let Yang Chen retreat for a while, but his body would not be injured. If his control was good, Yang Chen could also use the other side's attack to shock the golden bell to counterattack. However, the other party quickly discovered this, and their attack became awkward. They would never make a move at the same time to give Yang Chen the biggest counterattack. Everyone was attacking Yang Chen by the counterattack of the golden bell. The golden bell was fully protective against Yang Chen, and the sound was not as powerful as it was at the beginning. Seeing this method worked well, the 5 people suddenly rejoiced, regardless of the sailing boat in the sky slowly falling, they fully controlled the flag, while mobilizing the array to attack Yang Chen, while narrowing the scope of the array. The array was getting smaller and smaller, and it has been concentrated in 100 zhang. The distance between the 5 people was getting closer and closer, but the power of the array was getting bigger and bigger. Inadvertently, Yang Chen has also been unable to counterattack. The golden bell was fully capable of coping with the attack of the formation, but it could no longer ring the golden bell to counterattack. Seeing that Yang Chen has begun to stretch and clenched his hands, the 5 people finally showed a happy smile. The biggest purpose of this outing could now be completed. Maybe they didn't need to kill Yang Chen at first, they could firstly capture him. You must know that capturing him alive would be more rewarding than killing him. No one cared about the situation of the strong man. He was only stunned by the golden bell and fainted. Anyway, there was the sailing boat protection. There was nothing wrong with landing in the sea. He just had to wait for them to deal with Yang Chen, and then he would be healed. Yang Chen resisted very hard, but it did not help. Soon, the formation was constrained to within 30 feet, and Yang Chen had to struggle to resist their attack. The 5-person array could only trap Yang Chen. If the 6th person did not intervene, it may have only been a deadlock. Although the attack of the strong man led to his own spiritual awareness being severely injured, it also led to a reversal of the stalemate between the two sides. Yang Chen became precarious. Seeing that the scope of the array was getting smaller and smaller, Yang Chen couldn't make any fierce attack at all. The mood of the 5 Wielding stage ancestors were getting better with each passing minute. In the sea, the water was full of spirit power, and as long as they were willing, they could always use it as supplement. Even the loss of spiritual power caused by Yang Chen's attack could be restored after a short while. In the sea, it was simply the home of these water attribute spiritual roots cultivators, and Yang Chen's ability to have a great day could only be halted here today. But the sneer from the 5 masters, Yang Chen has turned into a trapped lamb in the eyes of everyone, and he was no longer able to resist. Such weakness, it seems that apart from his body protecting magic weapon and the flying shuttle, there was no attack method that he could bring out anymore. They didn't know how the genius disciple Li Qingchen was defeated like that previously. The 5 masters sent by the greatest heaven sect were not the leopard-headed monster cultivators that Yang Chen met in the Banyan cave. They were almost the same as Shikui and Xia in ruthlessness. The guys in those caves did not experience the instinct of real tempering. They have only reached the Yuning stage by the abundant spiritual power and systematic cultivation methods in the Immortal's cave. They didn't have the same instincts as Shikui and Xia. Such a strong lineup, used to deal with Yang Chen, has already given Yang Chen a lot of face, but it also reflected the determination of the greatest heaven sect. This time, Yang Chen must be put to death, they were merciless. The array was compressed again, and the 5 masters had already reached Tenjiang from Yang Chen's area. With such a close distance, Yang Chen became even more fierce, he could still not break through the shackles of the sea-ceiling flag array. A wide range of flag arrays could make the speed of the shuttle drop. At this point, even a few moves were almost a luxury. The invisible force almost completely blocked the entire space. Not only Yang Chen, but even the 5 Yuning stage masters who were in the line, did not dare to have any change. In such a small space, once a random movement caused a formation, there was no strong man to control the sailboat, maybe it would be smashed by Yang Chen. Fortunately, with the current situation, basically the overall situation has been set, Yang Chen was just waiting to defeat it, under the combined attack of the 5 Yuning stage ancestors, how long he would last, was still unknown. Everything looked perfect, even if the strongman was injured and he was not able to struggle with Yang Chen, there was no perfect ending. When they thought of Yang Chen, whether it was killing him or the bell-shaped magic weapon that could counter the people for so long and would also become their spoils, everyone felt their heart warming. Of course, the most exciting thing was the medicinal pills that Yang Chen may bring. No one would believe that a person who has refined dozens of questioning inner heart pills will not leave a few on his body. Yang Chen's own master ancestor, Wang Yong, has just recently been promoted to the Daching stage, and the living example was in front of them. The array has reached this limit and seems to have reached its minimum size and was unlikely to shrink again. The 5-people control method needed to give everyone a place to go to the flash, the 10-foot radius was already the limit. Everyone's heart started speeding up, when the result was only a matter of time, Yang Chen's face suddenly showed a smile. This smile came out of nowhere, suddenly the few Yuning stage ancestors had a bad feeling, but why they had the bad feeling, they could not pinpoint it for a while. I finally waited for you to get close. With the voice of Yang Chen, hundreds of heads of different sizes appeared around the crowd. Everyone had no less than 100. Thunder. One of the Yuning stage ancestors was sharp-eyed and recognized these suspended things on time. But he only had time to call out a word and the hundreds of things exploded. Countless thunder suddenly fell and all the areas were covered, everyone was covered with hundreds of rough hugs and intense lighting, everyone couldn't open their eyes and couldn't see what happened. Outside of Yang Chen's body, the shadow of the golden bell appeared suddenly, and Yang Chen's whole body was covered in it. Yang Chen's body refining technique also rushed to the extreme, the refining technique was at the mountain picking realm, the skin mentioned the highest protection. This was not the only thing, the dome of the temple at this moment also appeared outside Yang Chen's body, wrapped in Yang Chen and the golden bell. After the dome passed through the 7th metal true essence refining, it showed the strongest defense. In the thunder, not only the 5 Yuning stage ancestors, but also the outer periphery of Yang Chen, were also full of thunder. At this moment the dome seemed to have turned into a huge torch, giving off a glaring light. These head-sized things were clearly the thunder pomegranate that last time Yang Chen used to absorb the Big Dipper heavenly thunder formation. The thunder pomegranate was enough to absorb more than half of Zhanxian's 9th tribulation thunderbolt power. Hundreds of thunder pomegranates explode at the same time, and the power contained in them were released. The power could be imagined. In addition to the one who recognized the thunder pomegranate and the other 4, even their sounds did not come out. Under the baptism of more than 100 thunder, they directly turned into powder and disappeared. There was no trace of them anymore. Even if they have already passed their thunder tribulation before reaching the Yuning stage, they still had no resistance to the hundreds of 9th tribulation thunderbolts. Even if there was a flag guard, it only slightly delayed the time of the thunderstorm, and it couldn't help. In a flash, the sea-ceiling flag array, which had just been closely combined, disappeared from the sea surface, and the frozen sea surface returned to normal at this moment. In the middle of the dome, as if it had been baptized, it was dark red and braved with hot gas. It seems that this attack has heated the dome to a very high temperature. Suddenly, the dome sank into the sea, and the sea surface suddenly ignited a transpiration of white gas, covering the surrounding area tightly. In the air, a low-pitched golden bell sounded again. Buzz, the sea seems to have been hit by a giant hammer, crashing into a big pit and then slowly returning to normal. However, a huge ripple has swayed into the distance with the waves. Yang Chen's figure appeared in the middle of the transpiration of white gas. He also held a flying sword in his hand. When he was shaking, he had already come to the front of the sailboat with wings. He jumped gently and boarded the sailboat and stood in front of the stunned strong man. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 338. Only he knew. In the Greatest Heaven sect, the sect master held a strange thing in his hand and frowned for a long time. Then he raised his head and asked Elder Zhang, who was opposite to him, "Are you sure?" "Yes, sect master." Elder Zhang solemnly nodded and somewhat helplessly said, "After the determination of at least 6 elders in the sect, plus a few outsiders, have confirmed that this is the conclusion. This secret plane was mentioned in the sect's classics. This is actually the key to the secret plane of my predecessors." The sect master of the Greatest Heaven sect held the key in his hand and sighed. When he arrived in this realm, he saw much better things, and there were not many things that could surprise him. This secret plane is different. Elder Zhang saw that the sect master seemed to pay little attention to it and hurriedly reminded, "The things in the secret plane are very important. According to the records, there are likely to be a lot of resources and magic weapons. For the current situation of sect, it will be very helpful." "Is the location of the secret plane determined?" The sect master nodded. If there were such things, it was really urgent for the Greatest Heaven sect. "No." Elder Zhang replied very slyly, "The sect has records, but the key position is still recorded in the secret key itself. It is still impossible to determine the location of the secret. There are no people who recognize these inscriptions." The sect master certainly knew what Elder Zhang means when he came to him, but there were still some things to confirm. It was at least 10,000 years ago, and now some of the loss is normal. Elder Zhang heard the complaints in the voice of the sect master, but he could only explain this. Who told the sect not to have no one who recognized these inscriptions? There was a key in their hands, but they could not judge the location of the secret plane, it was simply driving them crazy. Who knows these inscriptions among the cultivators? The sect master nodded slowly, he was more clear about this point than Elder Zhang. Although the inheritance of the Greatest Heaven sect has exceeded 10,000 years, but the things of 10,000 years ago have not been fully inherited. A lot of things were developing and changing, even the text was the same. The Greatest Heaven sect was also a pioneer in promoting this development. But sadly, now the Greatest Heaven sect couldn't explain what the sect's predecessors left behind. It is said that Yang Chen of the Pure Yang Palace may recognize it. Elder Zhang looked up at the sect master and replied with a slight sigh. "Yang Chen?" The sect master suddenly frowned. The sect has sent 6 Wielding stage ancestors to chase Yang Chen, Elder Zhang knew about, but he chose this time to mention Yang Chen. What does this mean? "From the population of the Blue Cloud sect, I learned that a few decades ago, Yang Chen went to explore a secret plane with the Blue Cloud sect's snow fairy. The secret key at the time was one from Zhanxian." Elder Zhang nodded, explained, "The secret plane was said to have been passed down for thousands of years. It led to the killing of Luo Yuan, the master of the late Dacheng. This was the reason why the Blue Cloud sect was very angry. Finally, Yang Chen came back and Luo Yuan did not return. What does this have to do with my sect?" The sect master also knew about this. The Blue Cloud sect was rushed into the mountain protecting Great Formation by a master of the Dacheng stage. Basically, all other sects knew about this, but specifically because of what, only a few selected people were clear about it. Elder Zhang also used his personal relationships to know the point. The secret key, the wine fairy had it on him for a long time, but he didn't know it was the key to a secret plane. Elder Zhang said quickly, "The inscription on the secret key is said to be from 1,000,000 years ago, but Yang Chen knew it." The last sentence was the key, the inscription of the secret key was from tens of thousands years ago, but Yang Chen knew it. Although this does not prove that Yang Chen knew the inscription on the key of the Greatest Heaven sect, there was at least one possibility. Yang Chen was the target that the Greatest Heaven sect's top management has decided to remove. His existence has even affected the strength of the Blue Cloud sect and the Green Jade Immortal Island. This was a big worry for the Greatest Heaven sect. If they could not recruit him, they immediately made decisive arrangements to kill him. Even the sect has sent 6 Wielding stage masters to perform this task. But now, Yang Chen was the person who was most likely to know these inscriptions. Between the elimination of Yang Chen and the acquisition of the resources of the secret plane, it was really difficult for the sect master to choose. "Sect master, if Yang Chen, who is just a little Wielding stage younger generation junior, lives a few more days, it is not something that cannot be tolerated." Elder Zhang also had no way, there was the key in his hand, but he did not know the specific location, which made him very depressed. Of course, what was even more depressing was that the one who was most likely to know these inscriptions was still a Wielding stage junior of their own counterparts, and he was the one that must be eradicated. In this case, Elder Zhang could only come to ask the sect master to decide. Let Yang Chen live for a while, let him help them to see what was recorded in the inscription on the inscription, would he still be desperate to eradicate him? The sect master was also thoughtful, how could he not think of the small secret key, there would be many involved. What was in front of him was the resources left by the ancestral predecessors and the death of Yang Chen, which one was more important? Obviously, Yang Chen would absolutely die, no matter whether it was the elders or the sect master, they firmly believed this. Perhaps, they should let him help to see what was in the inscription and then die, that was what was most in line with the interests of the greatest heaven sect. As Liu Feng begun attacking him, the sect master sighed and could only choose to let Yang Chen live. Since Yang Chen was needed alive, those who they sent out couldn't do it right away. It's not clear. Elder Zhang was here for this matter and naturally understood clearly. However, they sent back news a month ago that they have already caught up with the boy's trace and were just waiting for him to go out to sea. Well, contact them and let them suspend their hands. Since the sect master made a decision, he immediately issued an order. A month's time, there were too many variables. If the message was not timely, maybe Yang Chen would die and the things that the greatest heaven sect wanted would be buried. Yes. Elder Zhang promised and was about to turn and leave, suddenly he saw a disciple rushing and stumble, waiting for some time on his face. The sect master is here, but you are breaching etiquette, what is so urgent? Sect master, elder, there is a big event. When the disciple was reprimanded by Elder Zhang, he did not dare to answer back. He hurriedly gathered a distressed posture and said quickly. What is it? What is making you make all this fuss? The sect master frowned, it was not a big event that had fallen from the sky. It was so embarrassing in the sect that it seemed to be a whole mess. Reporting to the sect master, this disciple is a disciple of the duty hall. The disciple quickly reported. Just now, Liu Feng and 5 other ancestors who have gone out to practice their life source tablets has been completely broken, confirming their deaths. What? Listening to this news, the sect master and Elder Zhang stood up and their momentum rose sharply. What did you say? The life source tablets of the 6 ancestors who have gone out to practice have been broken. The disciples who came running also knew that things were not good. He said it again and he almost cried out on his face. This life source tablet was only given after the cultivator was promoted to the wielding stage and it would be left behind in the sect, it would determine the status of the cultivator. When he was dead, the spirit tablet would be broken. They were usually stored in the main hall of a sect or in a special room. There were many masters of the greatest heaven sect who were in the wielding stage. The transmitting duty hall was the place where the greatest heaven sect specializes in storing the master's life source tablets. Once the life source tablet was broken, it means that the cultivator was dead. And Liu Feng's 6 people, these were the people that the greatest heaven sect sent out to chase Yang Chen and they were all wielding stage masters. Not only did they bring the sect's flying magic weapon and the sea-sealing flag array, but also the tracking compass that was refined by a daching stage master. With all of this, killing one Jitan stage junior would simply be a breeze. They just wanted Elder Zhang to send a message to them so that they don't proceed for the time being. They couldn't believe that the 6 people perished in just the blink of an eye. In the end, what happened? They were chasing Yang Chen but was instead killed. This was absolutely impossible. Yang Chen was just a small Jitan stage younger generation junior. Unless they had an accident. Was it broken at the same time or was it broken one after the other? The sect master asked subconsciously and seemed to want to determine what even he himself did not know how he would ask this question. Reporting to the sect master, it was at the same time. The disciples had a little recall and gave the answer. In fact, there were still some differences, but the time difference was too short, making it easy for people to misunderstand that it was at the same time. Check it out and see what happened. The sect master calmed down and shouted loudly. The disciple who just came to report hurriedly saluted and ran out quickly. You go to the Blue Cloud sect to inquire about when Yang Chen was chased by Luo Yuan, what happened in the end. How could the foundation stage younger generation junior come back but the master of the late daching stage disappeared? The calmer the sect master became, the more meticulous his mind was getting. What kind of magic weapon can kill 6 wielding stage ancestors at the same time? The sect master even sent the 2 people out, but he began to talk to himself. Was there any master with him? When Yang Chen was chased by the master of the daching stage, it was not obvious what happened during the period. Perhaps knowing this would help to determine what Liu Feng's group has encountered in the end. There must be secrets that everyone does not know in the ocean, otherwise Yang Chen would not run there anytime there was something wrong. This point was missed when the people of the greatest heaven sect set the plan. They thought that as long as they could trap Yang Chen, it would be easy to eliminate him. Now it seems that it was not so simple. If the loss of 6 wielding stage ancestors was placed in any sect, it would be a great event. Soon, the elders of the greatest heaven sect were informed and came to discuss about it. Elder Zhang quickly rushed to the Blue Cloud sect, trying to find out what happened to Yang Chen when he went to the sea. At present, it was not a question of not killing Yang Chen, but to immediately understand the cause of death of the 6 wielding stage ancestors. Of course, the inscription of the secret key that Elder Zhang said, since Yang Chen was not dead for a while, they should let him look at it anyway. Yang Chen would not know that there were many things happening in the Greatest Heaven sect. He was now standing on the sailboat and trying to control this magic weapon. The former strongman has been cut off by Yang Chen with a sword and his body was thrown to the blood demon vine to recover its strength. As for the Qianqin bag, of course, he will keep it and examine it slowly. Now Yang Chen was also starting to learn, after getting a Qianqin bag, he would throw it to Xiaoyan, let it swallow all the things one by one. If there was something like the spiritual awareness imprint on them, it would be digested by Xiaoyan, leaving no traces. It would not be so easy to trace Yang Chen in a similar way again. This winged sailboat made Yang Chen very surprised. In the memory of his previous life, there was no such thing. Or, in the past life, he did not have the opportunity to see such a powerful thing, so it was normal to have no memory about it. The quality of the sailboat was very high and it was not something that an ordinary Yuning stage master could refine. Yang Chen discovered this after the first contact with it. It seems that this sailing boat was a magic weapon for the sect to use for their transportation. Therefore, after the refining, the refiner himself did not use his spiritual awareness to sacrificially refine it, he turned it into a public magic weapon. This was like the flying shuttle that Yang Chen got from the treasure house of the Dragon Palace. The master has not been recognized, as long as he marked it with his spiritual awareness, he could use it at any time. The original spiritual awareness imprint of the strongman disappeared with the death of the strongman, and Yang Chen was naturally having it easy. The sailboat could also fly, but the speed was slower than the shuttle. In the water, although it couldn't enter the water raft like the shuttle, it could become a high-speed sailboat floating on the water. Most importantly, the sailing boat's protective ability was very good. If it was not that the strongman fainted and could not control it, Yang Chen would have to spend a lot of time trying to board the sailboat. This kind of natural protection plus the flying magic weapon, Yang Chen directly arranged the attribution. His senior apprentice sister Gongsunling does not have a good transportation device, he would just give it to her as a little tribute. Until this time that Yang Chen discovered that the sailing boat and the wings were actually two different magic weapons. The wings were strong and there was no spiritual awareness imprint on it. It was easy for Yang Chen to keep it. After learning about the use of water-dividing wings, Yang Chen could not help but become surprised. Although the water-dividing wings had great limitations and were not available in the air, they could double the speed of the shuttle or sailboat in the water. Just this was enough to make Yang Chen happy to the extreme. How fast would the speed of the shuttle be if it doubled in the water? Even if the second city master turned into his real form and flapped his wings furiously, it would be impossible to catch up with Yang Chen in the water. Yang Chen's shuttle with water-spraying dividing wings means that Yang Chen has directly given himself an insurance in the water and no one could catch up with him. Even if there was a flying magic weapon that was faster than Yang Chen's shuttle, it was impossible to have such a powerful speed in the water. He directly marked the water-dividing wing first with his spiritual awareness. After simply recognizing him as the master, Yang Chen picked up the compass of the strongman on the deck of the sailboat. With the input of his spiritual power, the compass's pointer immediately moved. Immediately, Yang Chen noticed that the spiritual awareness imprint in his own sea of consciousness trembled. This compass was the magic weapon used to track Yang Chen. It was just that Yang Chen's doubt was who the master of this spiritual awareness seal was. How could he still control this in his own sea of consciousness? Curious, Yang Chen was not even willing to drive out the spiritual awareness imprint. He wanted to know who this guy was. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 339. Pressure. In the previous battle, the scope of the sea-sealing flag array arranged by the other party was too large so that Yang Chen's sword array that was released from the dome could not shroud it. Yang Chen could only find a way to lure them into a small area. However, the strength of the 6 Yuning stage ancestors plus the array, even the sword array of the dome hull, was not necessarily able to ensure their defeat. Finally, Yang Chen chose to use the thunder pomegranate to blow them up. Although the sword array was powerful, in Yang Chen's memory, which was the cost of cultivating a few Yuning stage masters, was violently cracked by the sect of his previous life. Although Yang Chen couldn't remember a few Yuning stage ancestors for the time being, the 6 Yuning stage masters on the scene, and as wealthy Greatest Heaven sect disciples, it was possible that all of them have life source magic weapons. Compared to the sects of his previous life, they were a lot stronger. With the sword array of the dome, it was likely that it would not match up. This time, Yang Chen, who was smashed by the thunder when he broke the Big Dipper Heavenly Thunder Formation, acquired all the thunder pomegranates filled with the power of thunder. However, although the cost was huge, the harvest was extremely rich. Not to mention the two magical weapons, which was the sailing boat and water dividing wings. The life of the 6 Yuning stage ancestors was much more precious than a few hundred thunder pomegranates, at least in Yang Chen's eyes. Even if the greatest heaven sect was too strong and filthy rich and did not put human life into their eyes, the life of the 6 Yuning stage ancestors, it was not something that they could give up. Presumably, when the 6 Yuning stage ancestors died, the greatest heaven sect would definitely feel the pain in their heart. The 5 water attribute Yuning stage ancestors directly turned into glutinous rice powder, and the same was true of their Qianqin bag. Yang Chen could only search the body of this strong man. The people of the greatest heaven sect were worthy of being rich, except for the sailboat. Even if there was only one Yuning stage ancestor's Qianqin bag, Yang Chen has actually gotten a lot of good things. The most obvious thing inside the Qianqin bag was a jade plate with different colors on both sides. The top was clear green, but the bottom was white and flawless. Yang Chen first picked up this jade plate. As soon as the jade plate arrived in his hand, his spiritual power and spiritual awareness penetrated into it, and Yang Chen knew the origin of the jade plate. This was actually a medicinal garden, similar to Yang Chen's own medicinal garden, but its medicinal herbs were still a lot worse than the medicinal herbs in Yang Chen's garden. The best herb was just a few millenniums old. This was the second medicinal garden that Yang Chen got after he killed someone. It must have been from the time he started cultivating that he cultivated this garden. Now, all were cheaper for Yang Chen to gain. But things like the medicine garden, the more Yang Chen got the better it would be, it would never be too much. Now his own medicine garden has opened the second layer and could also swallow other medical garden spaces. The more there is, that is, enriches the output of his own medicine gardens and expands the scale of his own medicine garden. He directly threw this jade plate medicine garden into the net bottle medicine garden. Naturally, the two tool spirits Azu and Abby would slowly help the garden to swallow it. Without the owner and the medicine garden, there would be no external spiritual power support, and the result of being swallowed cannot be done in a short period of time. Yang Chen was now not lacking in medicinal materials, and he was not rushing to swallow the jade plate medicine garden, so he allowed Azu and Abby to control it themselves. He did not need to waste too much of his spiritual power at all. Moreover, he was already at sea. Since he came to the sea, Yang Chen was more likely to go to the Dragon Palace. There were countless spiritual pulses on the huge nautical chart, and there was no shortage of spiritual power needed to be swallowed by the medicine garden. The strong man was beheaded by Yang Chen when in a coma, and he was likely to leave behind a life source magic weapon. Of course, Yang Chen used his methods, otherwise the life source magic weapon of the perished person was really not easy to get. But with Xiao Yan, everything became simple, as long as he first forced the life source flying sword out of the other side sea of consciousness. The person who could still keep their flying sword under the influence of Yang Chen's sea of consciousness has not yet been seen. The quality of the flying sword was good, it was really worthy of the greatest heaven sect. The sect was willing to give better asset to the Yuning stage ancestors, and it would not be necessary cheaper than what a certain loyal disciple in the Puryang Palace would get. There were dozens of jade slips in the Qianqin bag, which record some of the cultivation experience and cultivation methods of the strong man. When Yang Chen's spiritual awareness scanned it, he received one side first as he would have the chance to see it later. The pile of spirit stones, these were directly thrown into the pile of his own spirit stone. There were also a lot of materials for various alchemy refining instruments. These were not part of the refining flying swords in Yang Chen's eyes. They were part of the spirit stones, and all of them were accepted. In addition, there were a few bottles of spirit pills he opened to see, they were some for healing, and for spiritual power supplement, they were very common. There were dozens of magic weapons for attack and defense. Everything Yang Chen turned over he understood their role. He felt that he couldn't use it for the time being. He had all received in his own bag. These magic weapons seemed to be somewhat miscellaneous. Except for the two high-quality protection treasures, the other ones were not refined himself. The only explanation was that these things were all obtained from others. The identity of the strongman Yang Chen was not very clear about. This guy does not seem to be good at refining, not good at alchemy. His life source flying sword was very sharp, all the medicines on his body were for healing and supplementing spiritual power. The only explanation was that this guy was simply a thug of the greatest heaven sect, specializing in combat. The big sect has the benefits of a big sect, their division of labor was detailed, and even the strengths of each person could be fully utilized. At this point, the Puryang Palace couldn't do it for the time being. There were only a few ancestors in the Yuning stage, and it was impossible to distinguish which one was dedicated to fighting and which one was specialized in logistics, they must be on the same team. Putting out these spoils, Yang Chen directly put the water dividing wings on the shuttle. For a long time, the speed of the shuttle speed increased rapidly and flew toward the depths of the ocean. Yang Chen's spiritual awareness threads were wrapped up in the imprint, but they were still unable to avoid the tracking of the other's compass, indicating that this guy who left the spiritual awareness imprint identity was somewhat strange. It was very easy for Yang Chen to ruin him. As long as he throws the spiritual awareness imprint into the blood river from time to time, the other party would absolutely be dead, but Yang Chen does not intend to do so. First, Yang Chen was also curious about the identity of this guy. Secondly, when he keeps this spiritual awareness imprint, he could also let the other party's attention concentrate on himself from time to time. It was also to relieve some pressure on his sect and the people around him from attention, in order for them to develop silently. More importantly, Yang Chen still maintained a strong interest in this way of making money. As long as the other party could trace him, they would naturally try to chase after him. The 6 Yuning stage masters had already died. It was definitely not the end of the two sides. Even if it was not done openly, it would be done in the dark. For the current Yang Chen, it was another kind of pressure and motivation to urge him to improve his cultivation base. With the memories of his past life, Yang Chen could subconsciously avoid some risks and resolve some of the big events that could bring danger to his sect and the people around him constantly. It was in human nature to shun evil and avoid disaster, and there was nothing wrong with it. Of course, in this way, a lot of dangers would be gone, but it also means that there would not be enough experience to gain from it. In many times, a real master was not cultivated but was born from life and death situations. Not only the people around Yang Chen, but even Yang Chen himself was subconsciously doing this. This would also lead to another consequence, that was, from the beginning to the end, Yang Chen would not encounter a real life and death threat. Luo Yuan was one, and the second city lord was also one, but they have been easily put to death, and they had not forced Yang Chen's cards. This was of course a good thing for safety, but it also gives Yang Chen an invisible relaxation. Even if Yang Chen knew that this kind of relaxation was fatal in his heart, there was no external factor to force himself. It was impossible for Yang Chen to take the initiative to force himself to the limit. Without reaching his limits, there would be no breakthroughs, this was common sense. At this time, the Greatest Heaven sect actually began to secretly plan to assassinate Yang Chen, which definitely gave Yang Chen an excellent opportunity to temper himself. What Yang Chen had to do was to use this opportunity to force himself to a tense state, which was the best catalyst for spirit power cultivation. Keeping the imprint of the spiritual awareness was to keep the lighthouse guiding the direction of the other side, and also to give himself a chance to face a strong enemy. However, since it was at sea, Yang Chen was certainly not willing to run again. Anyway, he was already on the road, why not go to the Dragon Palace treasure house first? The original plan was to go to the treasure chest and see if he could get a few magic weapons, and the other was to collect the 10th water true essence as much as possible so that his own spirit power could also be condensed, which certainly was a not bad plan. The change to the plan was the order of getting the 7th metal true essence and 10th water true essence. Fortunately, the Greatest Heaven sect chose such a time to chase after him, otherwise Yang Chen may not know that the spiritual awareness imprint that he has wrapped up in his sea of consciousness could be so powerful to point out his own direction under the circumstances. If Yang Chen was accidentally followed when he went to the Dragon Palace treasures, won't he reveal the location of the treasure house? But this lesson, Yang Chen was of course cautious when he went to the treasure house. The inverted sea jasper could isolate the spiritual awareness, and even Luo Yuan was unable to find the trace of Yang Chen in the distance, not to mention a small tracking method. What's more, collecting the 10th water true essence was also one of the functions of the sea jasper. Directly wrapping the shuttle with the inverted sea jasper, Yang Chen went all the way to turn a few directions, then confidently and boldly marched to the Dragon Palace. With the strong speed of water dividing wings, this time he rushed to the Dragon Palace treasure house, although the distance was more than doubled, the time did not last too long, it took just a few less days than before. 2 months later, Yang Chen had already arrived at the sea above the Dragon Palace. When the shuttle and the water dividing wings were kept, Yang Chen quickly sneaked into the bottom of the sea and entered the treasure house. In fact, even if Yang Chen exposed the location of the Dragon Palace treasure house, people from the Greatest Heaven sect could not find it. The treasure house itself was now a huge sea rock and there was no unique way to enter. Even if the other party knew that Yang Chen was inside, wanting to go in was not a possible thing. The protection of the Dragon Palace treasure house was almost inconsequential. As for using brute force to consume its spiritual power, it was even a joke. On the huge nautical chart on the treasure trove, the whole spirit power of the East China Sea was wiped out. Even if it was the power of all the disciples of the Greatest Heaven sect, it was impossible to compete with the spirit power of the entire East China Sea. Even if they were worked to death, it would be impossible to open a corner of the Dragon Palace. The 10th water true essence collected along the way, although it was not large in quantity, but Yang Chen didn't waste it at all, he directly sent it into the gourd. This gourd, which was obtained from the Dragon Palace treasure, only showed its powerful function at this time. When the 10th water true essence entered the gourd, it was immediately condensed into droplets, which were stored separately in a small corner. Even without any constraints, there was no trace of it. What made Yang Chen more pleasant was that when it was put together, the sea jasper seems to fully exert its strongest effect to consolidate the 10th water true essence. In the past few months, he was able to consolidate a few drops. Now, within a day, there was more of the 10th water true essence that he have received in the past few months. The place where it was stored in the gourd has become a small puddle the size of a rice bowl. It was still dripping into it, which was condensed into droplets every day, filling the future lake all the time. The 10,000 trees forest was only a few thousand miles in circumference. But in just a short period of 10,000 years, it has produced a huge amount of first wood, true essence spiritual liquid in a lake. The area of the entire East China Sea would be several times larger than the 10,000 trees forest. This was not counting, a few oceans were interoperable, even if the sea that Yang Chen was last chased by Luo Yuan in, which its straight line distance was more than a few million miles. It was almost endless to condense the 10th water true essence in the sea. With the gourd and the sea jasper, Yang Chen doesn't even have to do it himself. He just put the gourd and the sea jasper on the nautical chart and it would collect by itself. Without controlling the sea jasper, Yang Chen was of course happy and he followed Xiao Yan and rushed directly into the hall where the magic weapon was stored. Yang Chen released Xiao Yan from the time he entered the treasure house. The most favorite position of Xiao Yan was that it keeps flying around the huge dragon ball, but it was always rejected by an invisible force and couldn't approach it. Obviously, this time the roaring sky was still unable to collect this dragon beard, but the dragon kai around it dispersed and Xiao Yan was so happy. Looking at this scene, Yang Chen shook his head and went straight to the inside with Xiao Yan. He began to ponder over the remaining pieces of the jade case. He has gotten the shuttle, the gourd, the sea jasper, and the golden bell. On the other jade case, there were 4 things that Yang Chen did not get the last time, a rope-like thing, a small tower, 2 branches, and a drawing axis. To do this thing, Xiao Yan was already familiar with it, he had to absorb the dragon kai and the 4 arrays. He devoured the spiritual awareness of the 16 life source magic weapons. One of them was the flying sword of a daching stage master, so Xiao Yan has become stronger than the last time. With his small mouth, Xiao Yan began to swallow the dragon kai around the drawing axis. Seeing the invisible dragon kai turned into a thin smoke and entered the mouth of Xiao Yan, the array around the jade case began to become weaker and weaker. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 340. Precious Materials. It takes a lot of time to devour a dragon's formation strength, so Xiao Yan required a lot of time. Yang Chen was setting up the gourd and the sea jasper, after placing his medicine garden on a certain spiritual pulse, the only thing left was to wait. Yang Chen waited patiently. In fact, at this point, he had nothing to do but to wait. Of course, his cultivation could be done without interruption. The profound spirit furnace had absorbed a large number of fire seeds, and at the same time, it had also saved a large number of fire seeds for the yin-yang heaven burning fire. During the time that Yang Chen was waiting, he could control the yin-yang heaven burning fire to absorb one or several kinds of fire seeds. Now Yang Chen's first and second grade fire seeds have been completely absorbed, so he had to start from the third grade fire seeds. Hundreds of third-grade fire seeds were waiting for Yang Chen's yin-yang heaven burning fire. Even if nothing was done, it would take a long time to wait for these fire seeds to be absorbed and fused. This time would at least last for decades. After all, the yin-yang heaven burning fire was still only a prototype, and the strongest flame that it has merged with was just at the third grade. Every time he absorbed a third-grade fire seed, it would take at least 6 to 10 months. While going by the order of daily cultivation, the body refining technique, yin-yang 5-element secrets arts and 3 purities, secret art cultivation methods were all practiced. Yang Chen controlled the yin-yang heaven burning fire to absorb a third-grade fire seed. The absorption process was an automatic process. As long as Yang Chen controls the absorption, he could stop paying attention to it, he just had to be careful not to have any accidents. The yin-yang heaven burning fire has already merged with several kinds of fire seeds. At this point, it was not easy to have an accident while absorbing the third-grade fire seeds. Unless Yang Chen was attacked and seriously injured during the absorption process, even if Yang Chen was in combat, nothing would happen to it. The remaining 4 jade cases also had the most rigorous of array protections. With the ability of Xiao Yan, it has been swallowing up the dragon kai for half a year and still has not opened this axis yet. In the 8th month, Yang Chen had successfully absorbed the third-grade fire seed and the yin-yang heaven burning fire became more and more strong and its color became deeper and darker. After the fusion of the fire seed, Yang Chen temporarily stopped absorbing the fire seeds. He was waiting for Xiaoyan to break the formation of the axis. It has been going on for so long, and even the rest of the formation was already crumbling. If Yang Chen was not afraid that the axis of the painting inside would be damaged, he might have used violence to break it at this point. However, Yang Chen did not do that in the end, but waited patiently. A month later, the array outside the drawing axis finally disappeared. All the dragon Kai was swallowed up by Xiaoyan. At the first time when the formation disappeared, Yang Chen reached out and grabbed the axis of the painting. He quickly moved away from the jade case and reached the center of the hall. When he made sure that he has completely got the drawing axis, Yang Chen began to slowly look up at it. The drawing axis was rolled together and he didn't know what was drawn inside. However, the axial material of the drawing axis was very rare. It was a kind of sea heart jade that would be produced in the deep sea. This kind of sea heart jade, for Yang Chen, even in the heavenly court, he has only seen it once on a certain picture of the Jade Emperor, so its preciousness could be imagined. 2 small dragon heads were found on both sides of the circular axis, which was very lifelike. He didn't know what material the 4 dragon eyes was made up of for the time being. There was a restrained glitter of light that was easy to ignore in the eyes. If Yang Chen was not staring at it, it was almost impossible to detect it. The material of the shaft was so rare that the material of the shaft had surprised Yang Chen. When his hand touched it, Yang Chen's first reaction was that it was a kind of animal skin, but what kind of animal skin it was, Yang Chen could not be sure. However, when the painting axis was slightly opened and the air was released, Yang Chen already understood what it was. It was dragon skin. The material used in this painting axis turned out to be dragon skin. Other than that, there was no other possibility. Not to mention the dragon aura that was emitted was similar to the aura of the dragon beard in the entire treasure house. It was enough to let the East China Sea Dragon King solemnly save these things here, which has fully explained this point. Apart from the dragon skin, what kind of monster skin was worthy of being placed in the treasure house of the Dragon Palace? The entire drawing axis was opened. It was a long roll with a length of 5 feet and a width of 2 feet. On the long white snow skin, except for small black spots in the center, all the other parts were blank, nothing was on it. Yang Chen's spiritual awareness easily entered the axis of the painting. A message quickly entered the mind of Yang Chen and let Yang Chen instantly understand the role of the axis. The name of the drawing axis was called the Mountain River Geographic Map. It was an array map. The small point in the center of the array, where it was just a black dot, was clearly the complete geographical map of the entire East China Sea. When his spiritual awareness explored it, the little point almost became the entire East China Sea, and Yang Chen's spiritual awareness could not even easily find the edge. This was a geographical map of the mountains and rivers that has not yet been completed. Only the geographical map of the East China Sea was drawn. According to Yang Chen's understanding, this mountain river geographic map could be supplemented without restrictions. The supplementary method was to bring this magic weapon through the place where it was not drawn. This magic weapon would automatically draw the place where the magic weapon owner passed. At any time, as long as the owner of the magic weapon was willing, he could find the terrain of any place and have it drawn through the mountain river map. No matter how complex the terrain was, it could be clearly marked on the map. Of course, this was only the most basic role of the mountain river geographic map. For an array, it was not just a matter of recording the terrain. The most powerful part of this mountain river geographic map was that as long as the owner of the map launches the map, he could directly trap his opponent in the map, already marked by the mountain river geographic map, and anything that would happen was left to the owner of the map. Unless that person's cultivation base was higher than his by a lot, or he knew how to break the formation, even if the map couldn't kill the opponent, he could be trapped for a long time and would not be released. What was especially important was that the more complete the geographical map of the mountain river was, the greater the power of the array would become. If he could draw those famous natural danger spots, he could use those danger spots to attack his opponent directly, and the power would be devastating. This was not counting that this map actually has several levels. In this way, not only the mortal world, but even in the spiritual world, he could completely map out the geographical map. This magic weapon could even be used directly in the heavenly court. The dragon clan's most precious treasures, dragon skin, used to produce array maps with powerful formation. These was not counting that the whole picture axis was actually of the earth attribute. If these things were combined, it would simply be the most suitable life source magic weapon for his senior sister Gongsun. This was an absolutely unexpected surprise. Even Yang Chen did not think that this mountain river geographical map would be so suitable for Gongsunling's cultivation. He has been worried before. Gongsunling was not a sword cultivator, so giving her a life source flying sword would not be appropriate. Now there would be no such problem. In his surprise, Yang Chen collected the geographical map and his eyes began to look at the next jade case. what was that roll of rope-like thing? Could it be a magic weapon like a bundle of a fairy rope? Looking forward to it, Yang Chen directly ordered Xiaoyan to begin to devour the dragon kai around the jade case. This jade case was placed in the same row as the mountain river geographical map, so the outer array should be of the same power and Xiaoyan could fully cope with it. While waiting, Yang Chen was still constant with his cultivation, fusing the fire seeds, this time here placed with a third-grade fire seed. Yang Chen deliberately controlled it when absorbing, carefully maintaining the balance of the yin-yang heaven-burning fire, which promotes the yin-yang heaven-burning fire. Of course, the wait was not completely boring, at least Yang Chen found that with the growing number of 10th water true essence in the gourd, it seems that the speed of the 10th water true essence was getting faster and faster. The small 10th water true essence that was in the gourd was really not the size of a rice bowl anymore, but has become the size of a wash basin. It was originally only 1 finger thick and now it has become as thick as a fist. So much 10th water true essence, and it was still condensing into 10th water true essence spiritual solution, it was really enough to support Yang Chen for a long time. You must know that Yang Chen has nothing in his hands that could absorb the 10th water true essence liquid without restriction, like the Penglide Divine Wood did for the first wood true essence spiritual solution. It was absolutely a difficult process to absorb it by himself. Even if there was a fusion of the third grade fire seed, Yang Chen did not care and started to absorb the 10th water true essence. With the control of the gourd, the speed of Yang Chen's absorption could be adjusted at will. Yang Chen could control the spiritual powers in the yin-yang 5 elements, secrets arts at the same time, naturally he would not care about such a small distraction. The spirit power of the 10th water was used for the cultivation of the 10th water, true essence secret arts. All the spirit power of the 10th water has been converted into the 10th water true essence. The absorption of this 10th water true essence liquid was very smooth. It was only limited by the fact that the spirit power of the 10th water has not yet been able to condense its Dan, so it cannot be absorbed quickly. It could only restrict those 10th water spiritual solution into a trace. It was drilled from Yang Chen's palm and slowly absorbed by Yang Chen. The process of condensing Dan was originally a process in which the spirit power grows to the limit and then a qualitative change occurs. However, if there was no external force and relying on Yang Chen's own methods to find the added spirit power, if he wanted to reach the point of condensing Dan, with Yang Chen's own estimation, if he was fully operational, it would take at least 5 years' time. Now with the same source of the 10th water true essence, it was naturally less trouble. As long as Yang Chen absorbs the fusion of these homologous spirit powers, he could improve his own cultivation. This was what the essence spirit power of the 10th water true essence and first wood true essence could do. Any other spiritual power couldn't do this. Even if Yang Chen uses a large amount of heavenly treasures, it still needed a process of transformation and absorption. The efficiency cannot be compared with the direct absorption of the 10th water true essence. However, for this method, Yang Chen could only use it in his breakthrough. The usual cultivation was the real foundation, not add some spiritual power to replace it. The speed of the inverted C Jasper cup condensing the 10th water true essence was faster than Yang Chen's absorbing speed, so Yang Chen did not have to worry about anything, he could cultivate freely in the treasure house. Time passed quickly and the time of half a year passed by. The third grade fire seed was easily absorbed by Yang Chen's yin-yang heaven burning fire, and Yang Chen even changed to another fire seed to continue the process. The devouring speed of Xiaoyan was still as always, neither fast nor slow, and the dragon kai around the jade case was becoming less and less. According to the experience of the previous jade case, Yang Chen estimated that it would take several months to complete. The continuous cultivation lasted for another 3 months. When Yang Chen completed a cultivation cycle and entered the hall again, he immediately noticed that the dragon kai around the second jade case had been completely absorbed by Xiaoyan. The seemingly inconspicuous rope on the jade case was placed on it at random. Yang Chen took a step and took it in his hands. Yang Chen started to notice the difference. The rope was clearly a kind of magic weapon that had been strengthened to the extreme. Fortunately, this magic weapon was now completely undefended against Yang Chen, so Yang Chen could easily enter it with his spiritual awareness and spirit powers. Later, Yang Chen immediately understood the purpose of the rope. This was a long cable made of 5 kinds of dragon tendons. The 5 kinds of dragon tendons belong to the 5 elements. After the combination, it was refined and it became a long cable, and its length could be controlled at will. The 2 ends of the long cable were 5 sets of sheaths at one end, which could be large or small, and belonged to the 5 elements. The other end was a hook-like thing, it consisted of 5 small hooks, which were also divided into 5 rows, it was made from the bones of a special part of the 5 dragons. This sheaths, obviously, could make 5-row-high gloves on the wrist and control the hook of the other head and could grab everything from the air. Plus, with the strength of the long cable in the middle, it was a natural tool to extend his arm. In some places that he couldn't explore, if there was such a tool that was powerful enough to do it, he would do so. The 5 elements rope obviously needed the 5 elements masters to control them, but for Yang Chen, he could control it alone. What made Yang Chen happy was that this was not only a tool for grabbing, but also a good thing to take away at any time on certain occasions. And this hook directly reminded Yang Chen of a scene of a sensational magical weapon that was born a few hundred years later that caused a stir in the cultivation world. It looks like such a thing, you needed a long cable tool like this from a place that ordinary people couldn't reach to take it. Could it be that the heavens wanted Yang Chen to get this hook in order to let him join the battle of the latter generation? And also deliberately set aside such a long time, was it just to let himself complete this hook? Thinking of that opportunity, even Yang Chen could not help but be moved. Forced to suppress this thought, Yang Chen and Xiao Tian once again communicated, indicating that Xiao Tian continued to swallow the dragon kai of the next jade case. Now Xiao Tian was still capable, maybe this time he could get 3 magic weapons. Surprisingly, Yang Chen suddenly noticed that his own medicine garden had some changes. Although the medicine garden has been placed on the outside nautical chart, the tool spirit has always been connected with Yang Chen. When he perceived the changes in the medicine garden, Yang Chen hurriedly withdrew from the hall and came to the chart and went into the medicine garden. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more.